We got a lot of people in this film. This is the biggest thing I've done so far, and there's a lot of people in this. So, alrighty, guys, let's dive in. Are we gonna watch it in 4K? Probably not. Let's do 1080p. Alrighty, so let's dive in. Let's talk about this film. I got a question. I'm gonna ask you guys. Do you want me to pause it and talk about tidbits of it as we go along, or do you want me to just, like they do with normal director's commentaries, do you want me to just play it and then just talk over it? Because that's kind of the whole point. We're not watching it to watch the film. You can go on YouTube and watch it if you want. This is for me to ramble on like an idiot and tell you everything that went into making it. You got faith in me? Thanks, man. I got faith in me too. I got faith in myself. So yeah, what do you guys personally want to see? Do you guys want me to pause it and talk about tidbits? I did see you in that opening chase. You did. Pause and talk about tidbits? All right. Well, Bobo says pause it here and there and talk about tidbits. We'll just dive in, and if I need to talk about something. I don't care. I just don't want to argue. I like that attitude, Tony. I like it. I wish I had that attitude. All right. Let's dive in, guys. Let's pause on some stuff. Disclaimer. Okay, yeah, we get it, Corbin. All right. So, fun fact about this first scene. This is the torture scene. This was the last thing we shot for the entire film. This is the last day of shooting, and it was probably at 2 a.m. This is Chris Ridings. Really, really great actor and awesome guy. He helped us out in more ways than one. Chris, I don't know if you're watching this. You might watch it later. You're an awesome human being. Chris actually... so, I'm already pausing it. Here we go. So Chris is in this movie a couple times. He also plays the Dove masked henchman later on. So we reuse some of the same actors for the masked henchman, and he is the Dove masked one. And then we got Aaron walking over here as Scarecrow. And this is a real warehouse that was lent to us by friends of my parents. I credited them at the end. John and Rayford Black, you guys are troopers. And I had to wipe up all that chalk after we filmed this. This was a pain in the ass. What was he saying? All right. That's an interesting question. Okay, so in this scene, Chris here, the crazy guy. So this is Officer Angus, as we kind of find out later. This is the cop that goes crazy at the hands of Scarecrow. He is saying roost, roost, roosting over and over again. The whole roosting thing and the thing with the hens and all that stuff and what Scarecrow sings in the cornfield, it's all a nursery rhyme called Dingle Dangle Scarecrow. I don't know how many people actually caught that. I haven't talked to anybody that did. Most people were like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. It's a nursery rhyme. It's a real nursery rhyme. You can look it up. It's Dingle Dangle Scarecrow, and all the Scarecrow masks, or sorry, all the Scarecrow henchmen masks that you see later on are animals that are in that nursery rhyme. So he's saying roost, roost, roosting, and talking about hens and stuff like that. So it's each victim is talking about a specific part of this nursery rhyme. And when Aaron, or Scarecrow, I keep saying Aaron, when Scarecrow / Jonathan Crane is walking over, he is humming the nursery rhyme to him. When all the cows are sleeping and the roosts have gone to bed or something, I think that's how it goes. Up jumped the Scarecrow, and this is what he said. That's part of the nursery rhyme. He's saying it to him. I'll turn it up so you guys can hear it a little bit more. But he is... The crazy guy is saying roost, roost, roosting, saying parts of the nursery rhyme. And then Scarecrow is actually singing it to him. So listen again.
Roost.
He's writing roost, roosting, drawing pictures of chickens. I don't know if you guys can... Sorry, I'm talking over it. That's a chicken right there. There's a few... I think that's another chicken. There's pictures of chickens and roosting just in a circle.
Roosting, roost. Roosting, roost.
And all the cows are sleeping.
Roost, roost. Hands up.
When the sun has gone to bed.
Out jumps the Scarecrow.
Up jumps the Scarecrow. And this is what he said. And this is when Scarecrow says, I'm a dingle-dangle scarecrow and a great big floppy hat. I can move my hands like this. I can move my feet like that. I think that's how the nursery rhyme goes.
Hands are roasting.
Floppy hat. Yeah, he's saying it there.
I can shake my hands.
Hands are roasting.
I can shake my hands like that. Ding.
Hands are roasting.
I love that opening scene. Does that sound full of myself? I fucking love that scene, man. I love it. I just love the horror atmosphere to it, and I like that that's how we started it. So, I forget at which part in the creative process we came up with that, but yeah, that was a really, really fun scene to shoot. Very, very last scene of the entire shoot. It was the last scene we shot. It was the first one in the movie. That was kind of neat. You're hard of hearing? I am too, Yoko. I have captions on everything that I watch. Just so you know, I am autistic and I make animation in Blender. I'm a big DC fan. Batman is a superhero. Being autistic is your superpower, my friend. And that's awesome. I've never used Blender before. I've heard it's really fun, though. Scarecrow threatening that cop for a reason, or was it simply because that cop was just his way? All the victims have wronged him in the past. This is the cop that arrested him. It's explained later on. Like, this is definitely, I feel like, a short film people would have to watch twice to catch some of this stuff. That's Officer Angus. That's the cop that arrests him, that arrests Jonathan Crane after he shoots the gun off in the school. He's torturing people who wronged him in the past, is basically what this is. So yeah, he's not picking random people. These are people that he has an agenda against. Yeah, it's a nursery rhyme. It's a weird nursery rhyme, right? I looked it up. I was like, I want to include something with nursery rhymes in this. I think that would be really creepy atmosphere. And I looked up Scarecrow-related nursery rhymes, and I happened to find one. And I was like, oh, this is gold. And like, I don't know, made it a huge part of the film. And I loved it. The whole whispering and everything Aaron did. Aaron did such a good job playing Scarecrow. He was so good. Is that dude afraid of roosters and chickens? I guess he is now, because he's going crazy talking about them. The gas is making him see birds walking. Yeah, he's basically hallucinating and seeing a bunch of crazy stuff from the nursery rhyme, basically, and he's fixated on that thing specifically. But yeah, you're pretty much on the nose, Tony. It's quite terrifying. I think it's pretty creepy, man. We talked at one point we talked at one point about making this whole scene just this one shot. That's just like tilted, like the whole Dutch angle. We talked about doing that for a while, but I was like, we'll move around a little bit. So, good thing I asked. I didn't know. Hey, Yoko, that's why we're here, right? You guys can ask these questions, and I got answers. But yeah, appreciate the questions. We're only a minute in, guys. It's taking like 20 minutes to get through it. Yeah, Batman animated series is good. Watched that a lot as a kid. This logo was done by Xavier Velasquez. I always feel like I'm mispronouncing his last name. My boy Xavier. I don't know if you're watching this, but he's my good buddy. We've worked on several projects together. He and I produced my upcoming horror film Sutherland together. And let me tell you, if you guys think this movie is creepy, Sutherland is on a whole nother level. Great cinematographer, very talented guy, and he did that logo for the film. All the drone shots in this film I captured myself in the city. This is right outside my apartment. And this is on Belle Isle in Richmond? Yeah. And the last person in this is me that gets hit. It's very quick. I don't think my brother, the first time he watched this, I don't think he caught it. I'm the last person in the group of guys running. And I get smacked in the face by Batman. Or hugged, really. We shot this in January of 2020. It was really cold outside. And this was before COVID happened. And we decided to do this scene last minute. I don't think it was originally in the script. We decided like, hey, let's do this introductory scene as kind of like a teaser for the film. And I was like, this would be a good way to start the film. So, yeah, there wasn't a whole ton of planning that went into this film. I mean, not the film, with this scene. But yeah, this was fun to shoot. This is, try not to dox people or whatever, but like, this actor here This is the guy who plays Batman. This is his son, Sam. Really nice guy. Sweetheart of a guy. Love this dude. I'm gonna put it in 4K. Probably look a little bit better. So what we did here is we tied a rope to his leg and just pulled him really fast. Get some shaky cam action here. And then, yeah. So Brandon Norwood did the VFX for this. I didn't do any of the VFX. I think this is Josh's first time acting, so he does like haunted houses and stuff at King's Dominion, and he did an awesome job, dude. So did John.
John! I'm not scared. I'll come and make you pay for this.
And I'm glad we started with this scene because we really wanted to establish that Batman he's terrifying from a criminal's perspective. He's a figure of horror in himself, you know what I mean? Like, people are supposed to be, Batman's supposed to be scary. And again, yeah, I got this drone shot too. I took all of these drone shots you see in the film the week before it came out. I did it last minute, and that was not smart at all. But I did it. So yeah, this was taken the week before it came out, like just last month. Your logo is good as DCEU. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Glad you guys like it. This series should include Scarecrow's origin when he makes patients hallucinate their darkest fears of what they hate. I like that idea. I definitely want to explore Scarecrow a bit more. After receiving feedback from the last, it's been 4 weeks since tonight is the 4-week anniversary since we released Dawn of Fear, and the response has been great. And one of the biggest feedbacks I've received is that people really liked Scarecrow, and it makes me want to dive a little bit more into that character a little bit. I liked Aaron's portrayal of him, and everyone that I've talked to has said that they loved it, and I loved it. So I would totally be down if Aaron is down to explore Scarecrow a little bit more. Those are great drone shots. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Just started flying a drone last year. This drone was a gift given to me by a friend. Very, very generous gift. And I get severe anxiety attacks every time I fly it. All the drone shots are amazing. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. I'm trying to get better. Well, I've been doing it a year. But I really do appreciate it because I'm very new to drone photography and stuff. So, you remember this place? Yeah. Batman makes the bad guys themselves be known as superstitious. Yeah, he's supposed to be superstitious. Exactly. That shot where you see Batman behind him with the flashlight was really good. Oh yeah. I love the shot too. Yoko, 100%. Yeah, this is fun. That's not really Josh's scream. We add that later. This is in the city of Richmond as well. Again, it's like so anxiety-inducing flying this drone in between buildings. It's so anxiety-inducing. But this is the Main Street station in Richmond. It is a beautiful, beautiful building. I absolutely love this building. Is not to ask what was the budget, because this genuinely looks like it's top-notch quality when it comes to short films. I would say we probably spent about $2,000 on it. And no, it's not a rude question to ask. Probably about 2,000, maybe. So it's basically a no-budget film. Yeah, we didn't like. Somebody asked me on Facebook who's doing their own Batman film if like we did like if we plotted out the budget and stuff like that ahead of time. We didn't. We kind of just. Steve, who plays Batman, was the co-producer and co-writer with me, and this movie wouldn't have been made without him. And he and I produced it together, and we kind of just we completely guerrilla style just kind of winged it and just paid for stuff as we went along. We didn't plan out everything like we probably should have, but it's just rookie mistakes and stuff. It's fine. If we do a sequel, we'll plan everything out in advance more and probably budget everything and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I would say probably about 2,000 if I had to estimate with like costumes and food and all that shit. Maybe 3,000 at most. Not that much. No budget. Anything that's below, like, I think it's 500,000 is considered no budget in the film industry. Might be at 300,000. I can't remember. They plan the plot and they always get caught. Their evil schemes. That's right. They do. They get caught every time. Camera shots are as good as... oh, thanks, man. Appreciate that. Glad you like them. Transitions with the drone shots actually a nice addition, though. I'm glad you guys like them. Makes me happy. I was so nervous. I'm glad you guys dig them. So, We shot this scene at 3 a.m. in
We
Richmond,
should be here any second now.
and we went late shooting
I've never seen him.
at the other location that we were at that night,
Been around for what, a couple years now?
and we didn't get here until about 2 or 3 a.m. and shot this. And
Well, the commissioner
Roger,
speaks highly of him.
who plays Officer Holder, I don't know if we actually say his name, but he is the African American guy,
'Cause he's
amazing actor, and Matthew Sharp, who plays Officer Grayson,
$100 is back, I
Dick
suppose.
Grayson. These guys were troopers. We showed up to set an hour late and filmed this scene later than we were supposed to. They didn't complain one time. They were such troopers about it. I felt awful, but hey, that's what filmmaking is. You do that. But yeah, these guys were absolute godsends. This is when we see Batman for the first time. Because again, he's supposed to be a myth. Even the cops don't know much about him. Only Gordon really knows him well.
Hey, yo, buddy.
Batman. Good
And then
to
Ed Schultz, who was in the chat earlier. Ed, I don't know if you're still here. Ed played Gordon and did an awesome job and looked the part perfectly.
No, I was advised not to.
Ed's such a sweet guy, though.
I'm the city commissioner now.
Such a badass. We didn't plan the wind.
Something doesn't feel
it just looks badass. I'm glad I used that take in the editing.
Dr. Alan Johnson.
Because that looks so good. Try this a little bit more so I can talk over it. So fun fact. this is great. Hold on. Let me wait till they.
Well, normally I wouldn't call you for something like that.
I'll wait till we cut back here to this body. So we needed a body, and I didn't want to buy a dummy. I'm like, why buy a dummy when I have a dummy that I can use? So our dummy here in this scene, Dr. Alan Johnson, the guy laying on the ground. This is a real person. This is not a dummy. This is actor John Witt, who I love. I have worked with him on several projects. This is the guy who plays Alfred. We put Alfred on the cold, hard ground to play this body. John is a blessing of a person. He is probably the nicest human being I have ever met, and I'm not joking. He has me rolling in tears every time I talk to him, and he's also in my upcoming horror film, Sutherland. Worked with John many times. He's a trooper, and I love working with him because he never complains, and he tells it like it is, and he's super, super funny, and he has stories for days. He has so many stories about everything. He's seen it all. He's done it all. He did journalism for like God knows how many years, and he's a beast. But yeah, he played our body in this scene, and John also was Gordon's stunt double during the climax of the film. I'll show you where. But yeah, John's a beast, absolute beast. You can sound like Kevin Conroy. I wish I could do that. Love the outfit. I know he looked great. This is all his. The only costume we really bought was, well, we bought bits of the cop costumes with the badges and stuff, but this cowl is custom made. Steve custom made this cowl, or he had somebody do it, I think, overseas, and then I think he built the suit himself, and then the Catwoman suit was the Michelle Pfeiffer costume that he purchased as well. But yeah, a lot of these guys supplied their own costumes, man. No budget filmmaking, you love it. King, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream, buddy. Just in time. We're still at the beginning. We did put Alfred on the ground. We did put a towel underneath him, but I don't think it did too much. He's on the cold cobblestones of Richmond.
This is Dr. Al.
He's done some high-profile movie parts. Yeah, so John has been in a lot of big movies. He was in Steven Spielberg's Lincoln. Yeah, dude. It's a big deal. He's been in some big movies doing some stuff. And we threw him on the ground because we love him. I love the look of that cowl, though. It's perfect. And again, I like the longer ears, too, because I know with Batfleck, with the Ben Affleck version of Batman, they had shorter ears. And I don't like it. I like the taller ears on Batman. So I'm glad we went with that. This is a journal that I bought, and I just filled in all the scratches and drawings myself and again, those are the things from the different nursery rhymes. It's the different animals and roosting and everything else that the victims say. And so when he says the first victim is a cop who drew chickens into the floor, he's referring to the first scene we saw. That's the cop that drew chickens and wrote the word roosting.
Scratch the word roosting into the floor. The last
Yeah.
victim was a woman, and she did some of the same.
So he said the last victim was a woman. So the second victim is Sherry Squires, who was Scarecrow's love interest, I believe, in one of the comics. And we'll dive in later when we actually see Scarecrow for the first time, but all the victims, again, are people that have wronged him before. So.
Been working on another case for the past several weeks. Triple homicide at Gotham State University. I didn't want to put anything more on his plate, so I thought maybe you could help out. I'll see what I can do.
I'll see what I can do. So we originally lowered his voice when I was editing this. I lowered Steve's voice a lot and added like an effect to it, and Steve did not like it. When I showed him the film before we released it and stuff, he did not like it, and even Kristen watched it and said that she didn't like the voice either, so I got rid of it, and I'm glad that I did. So I'm happy I did it. This is just Steve's natural voice. I didn't lower the pitch or anything like that at all. It's just how he sounds. But yeah, you can actually see it here. This is a mistake. You can see the towel that John is laying on. So John is laying here. These are the towels we tried to put under him to cover him up from the cold cobblestone, and it clearly didn't work, as you can see it there. But hey, maybe Dr. Alan Johnson was on a walk and he fell on some towels. Okay. Yeah, I drew the drawings in the book. I did. Roost is the best Pokemon move. 100% it is. What's up, Blood? How are you, man? How's your night? How's your night been, buddy? You still have the mustache I grew for Batman? I was gonna ask you. Remember you told me before that you still have that mustache. That's awesome. I'm glad that it had an impact on you. How tall is he as tall as the Justice League version of Batman? How tall is Ben Affleck? Isn't he like 6'1"? I think Steve's around 6'1", maybe 6 foot. I would say Steve is probably around 6 feet, maybe 6'1", something like that.
Yeah.
I think so. So we get another drone shot here. So this is Missy Mary. This is the only time I've worked with her so far, but I absolutely loved working with her. She was super fun, and the costume was her idea to do the purple, because this is obviously Barbara Gordon is Batgirl, and yeah, it was her decision to wear purple, and I thought it was actually, was it? I think it was her decision. I can't remember if I told her to wear purple or if she just, I think it was her suggestion. But anyways, absolutely loved it, and she did an amazing job. She has also been in some pretty big movies too. She knows M. Night Shyamalan. She's buddies with him. She, I believe, was a stand-in on the Apple Plus show Servant, and she's been an extra in some other films. She was a background extra in House of Cards. There's a couple shots where I think Claire Underwood is walking by, and you can see Missy in the background, and she's in focus several times. She's not just in the background like a little blur. Like, you see her in focus a couple times in that show, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, she's been in a bunch of stuff. She's on set all the time. I follow her on social media, and she's always doing something. So she's super busy. And this is Madeline Shouse. She is great. She is also really great. Super, super funny. This is a wig. That's not her real hair, actually. That was her decision to do that wig. And I was like, it looks cute. Let's do it. She was in my other short film that I did for a competition called Alter. And she played a therapist there. And the role was completely different. So she completely transforms into her character and did a phenomenal job in this role and in Alter. She did awesome. And we shot this in our cinematographer's office. This is obviously not a police station. We shot this in his office. We just moved some stuff around, made the desk a little bit more, busy, added a couple monitors and stuff, and yeah. It's just, you use what's available to you. We're not gonna actually film this at a police station. Come on now, it'll be crazy. Got Watch Dogs Legion. Hell yeah, dude. I need to play through the Batman Arkham games again. They're really fun. Yeah, she's in a lot, dude. She's been in a lot of stuff. She's directed, I think, a couple short films as well for some competitions. Yeah, she's definitely putting herself out there and been in a lot of stuff. Yeah, both of these ladies were really, really fun to work with. And that's the thing about working with so many good people, is that, like, you just want to work with them again. And it's like, I want to just make like a big feature film and just work with all of the great people that I've worked with before. Because it's like when you write films and you're like working on new projects, you're like, okay, who do I know who'd be good for this? But it's like, there's so many good people that I've worked with in the last 2 years that I've been doing this, so it's hard to pick and choose. I don't like playing favorites because everyone has done such a great job. So, So also another thing to mention, it was last minute to include Barbara in the story. I think Missy contacted Steve about being in the film. I think around the time either we started shooting or something like that, she wanted to be in it. We talked about the idea of having her play Barbara, and then we wrote these 2 scenes with her in them. Steve actually wrote the other scene, and I wrote this one to kind of introduce her and get this scene is supposed to get Vicky Vale involved in the story, so later on when she's at the climax of the film and films everything and that happens, she's the catalyst for basically the whole world seeing Batman as this lunatic that's supposedly killing people. I did all the drawings and stuff for this. I did that. This is actually my parents' bathroom, and I drew a bunch of shit on the mirror in lipstick. And that's supposed to be evidence from like the Sherry Squires case when she died from like overdosing on this hallucinogen and stuff like that. So, yeah, these are pictures of the book, and this is a picture of my parents' bathroom, and I drew with lipstick on it. So she basically, the whole idea is that Sherry Squires went crazy and drew a bunch of whole crazy shit on the mirror. So you have Officer Angus who's drawing stuff in chalk on the ground in this warehouse. You have the doctor who's drawing stuff in his notebook here, and then you have another example of somebody else who was the woman in this scenario, Sherry Squires, who was drawing stuff with lipstick all over the mirror. So the brick wall does give that feel of a police station. She was last minute. She wasn't, when we originally wrote this, she was not in the script, I don't think. And then we put her in, I think, right at the start of filming. I wouldn't say last minute. I mean, we took a while to shoot this. The very, very first scene we ever shot was the scene back here where Batman takes out those guys. That was the first scene we shot, and that was January 26th, 2020. It was January 26th of last year we shot that scene. And that was the very first scene. And then the last scene we ever shot was the torture scene at the very beginning. That was January 25th, 2021. So almost a year to the day was the first day of shooting and the last day of shooting. It's insane. So we shot this whole short film over the course of a year, and COVID and scheduling played a huge role in why it took so long to get made. And somewhere during that process, Missy contacted us about wanting to be in it, and we were like, yeah, that's awesome. We wanted to put her in it. Yes, Dad, I'm sorry. I put lipstick on your mirror, but I obviously wiped it off, and you'll never know. You know how hard it is to clean lipstick off glass? Well, I did it. They never knew. When are you going to wipe the lipstick off my mirror? It's been off. Did that like over a year ago. It's off. What are you talking about? Crazy. I also wrote up the forensics report. I don't know if you actually see it. I don't think you actually see it. But I actually wrote up a report that, like, when she's typing, she's actually working on a report, and I wrote like a good portion of it. Like, it's like these little details that no one ever notices. Which, you start to wonder, like, does this matter? Like, because we thought we were going to see the report at some point, but we didn't. But anyways, this goes to show you don't spend too much details on stuff that don't matter. Like, I remember once I heard about a story where there was somebody on a film set that it was like a period piece, and somebody wanted to, I don't remember who told me this, but somebody wanted to put like historical artifacts in some sort of bin, and we never see, and somebody asked, like, do we see what's inside the bin? And the director was like, no, I just want it in there for the sake of the film and for for the immersion, I guess. And it's like, well, if we're not seeing the prop, then it doesn't need to be in there. You know what I'm saying? But this was one of those examples of I didn't know that was going to happen. So I basically wrote up like 2 pages of what would look like a police report. about this stuff, and we never actually ended up showing it. So, at least I don't think we did. I'm pretty sure we didn't. You might see Bruce when he's looking through the evidence later. He might flash on screen a little bit. Did not plan this guy in front of it. I was sitting on the street in Richmond with my camera propped up on my foot. This is a shot that I grabbed the week before we released it. This guy just happened to be biking around, and yeah, he biked in front of the camera, and I was like, this is a cool shot. I didn't intend that at all, but I thought it looked kind of neat. So shout out to this man. I thought this was a really cool transition shot. Dude, just... So this is in the same office space that we shot the other scene in. I love this scene. It's one of my favorite scenes that we shot, and this is probably my favorite shot of the whole film. Took us a while to get it right. Once we passed in front of her and it was just at the right time, I told Steve to jump up so that he jumps up when the camera passes in front of her face. So, God, I love this shot. I just love this whole atrium scene. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, and I love the atmosphere of it. So when we shot this, when we got right in front of her, I told Steve, up, and then he jumped up, and then he's there. I was so proud of that shot, and I still am. I love it. There's so many things we did wrong and right in this film. This is definitely one of the ones that I think we did right. I'm so happy with that shot. I'm going to watch it again. You guys are going to watch it again. Look at this. Look at this beauty. People in the chat are probably like, this is not that great. I just love it. I love it. It took us several takes to get it right, but we did it. For sure. Didn't know your dad was watching. Yeah, bro. My dad's up in here. Papa Crab. I thought it was an actor on a bike. Nope. It was not an actor. It was a random guy. Just a random dude riding around Richmond. So we actually, all the lighting in here is mostly natural, like authentic practical lighting. Like we didn't add, the only light that we added was the light above them. We took like a portable, like little battery powered light, and I think we put it on a stand or something like that. I can't remember what we did. And we hung it right above them to create this kind of like street lamp effect, and it's really nice. This is what I used for the thumbnail of the film too. I love this. This is awesome. And I really like this scene because this is her intimidated. She's never really met him before. She's heard about him from her dad. And in this scene, she's kind of fearful, but he's the one that's imposing here. And then once they switch roles, she kind of takes charge of the conversation more.
I have a question.
And he starts to feel a little bit more uncomfortable when she brings up Robin and what happened to him.
You don't know.
So I'm glad that we did that blocking and switched him like that. I just love the way that looks in the background. I just love the way that he's kind of like silhouetted. Makes him really mysterious looking. I absolutely love this scene. It's so well shot. It's so well acted between the two of them. That's when she gets pissed off. He tells her, you know, I'm not going to train you. I've been through stuff. And this version of Batman has been through some shit before the film started. If you guys aren't familiar with the comic book history, this version of Batman follows, I think it's the Death of Robin comic book, where Robin is killed by the Joker. It's never explicitly stated in this film how he dies, but she says here, like, he says he can't take any chances training somebody else because the last person he trained was Robin, who died at the hands of Joker. It's never explicitly stated, but for anybody that knows the comics and knows that story of Batman, knows that. So once she brings up Robin, she's kind of picking his brain a little bit, like she's trying to get to him a little bit here. Did you ask him about it? No, I did not ask that guy. You talking about the guy that was on the bike? No, I did not ask him if I could film him. He rode into the shot. I propped the camera up on my foot and sat there and pressed record, and then the guy just rode into the shot, and I was like, okay, cool. That worked. I want to hear your sequel ideas later, Tony. At the end of the film, I want to hear them. I want to hear what ideas you have. I'm interested. He's the second Robin. So yeah, the one that's dead in this universe and timeline is Jason Todd, not Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson is the cop that we saw in the beginning, played by Matthew Sharp. It's never really explicitly stated until later during the news segment. But that was something that we also decided after shooting was, Matthew looks the part of Dick Grayson. Like, I think he would make a really good Nightwing if we decided to go that route in a sequel film or like a spinoff about Nightwing. So there's a little bit of a clue there when I'll let you guys know when later. But yeah, so Nightwing / Dick Grayson is in this universe. It's very hard to miss though, but he is the white cop of the two that are with Gordon earlier on. So, and he was the one that I think he also approached me and said that he wanted to potentially play Nightwing or something like that. And I was like, dude, I would be down to do it. So we have these little seeds planted throughout this film to possibly harvest later on. So like if we want to do a Nightwing film, we got Matthew Sharp to do it. If we want to do a Batgirl, which I've told Missy that I kind of do want to do a Batgirl spinoff film or a sequel that focuses a lot on her, she's totally 100% down for it. So we have these Batman characters that are planted in here, some more subtly than others, like Grayson. And yeah, man, it's kind of like the whole start of what could potentially be like a whole universe of characters in this Batman world. Should be kind of sick. I was wondering because I didn't know about the comics version of Robin's death. Yeah, so I don't know everything about it either, but I know that basically Jason Todd gets beaten to death with a crowbar by Joker. We don't explicitly say how he dies or even who kills him, but it is implied here that, yeah, Robin is dead, or one of the Robins. Jason Todd's Robin is dead in this universe. So, yeah, no, this is a newer Batman. This is not like, yeah. You said this is not the Dark Knight Returns universe. No, this is completely its own thing. We took bits and pieces from the comics and video games and stuff like that and basically said, we're not adapting any comic specifically, we're just telling our own story. So, the cop is the future Robin. He's the future Robin / Nightwing. Dick Grayson is the first Robin. And then he becomes Nightwing, and then the second Robin, Jason Todd, is the one that is killed by Joker. So, yeah, Dick Grayson's in this. There's so many hidden details that I miss. Yeah, there's a lot of hidden stuff that we put in this movie that a lot of people wouldn't catch. So, he gets blown up? Does he get blown up in one of the renditions? I thought he got beaten to death with a crowbar. That's the one that I know, at least.
For a chance.
And he says I can't when she says she wants to train and get out on the street. She doesn't like being behind a desk. She wants to actually do some of this vigilante work that he's doing and get out in the field like her dad kind of does. And she's pissed because he's basically telling her, yeah, no, I'm not doing that again. And then she obviously knows through her dad, Robin died, and Batman obviously feels responsible for that. So she kind of jabs at that weakness a little bit and says, is it because of Robin? Is that why you won't train me? And then that's when Batman stops. And
Because of Robin?
so she says right there. And he stops and turns.
I know what happened. I'm willing to take the risk.
Not again. Not on my watch.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not having another trainee die. I'm not going to bring in another sidekick just to have them killed. This was also shot near the Canal Walk in Richmond. I've been watching Dope Sick on Hulu, which we're on the last episode, so no spoilers if you've seen it. Kristen and I are going to watch it hopefully later tonight. Phenomenal series on Hulu. It's about the whole OxyContin addiction in America. Phenomenal show. They shot a lot of it here in Virginia and in Richmond. Right above this, like above it on the Canal Walk, there was a scene in Dope Sick. And I saw that and I was like, holy shit, that's awesome. It's like around where I shot my Batman film. It was just really cool to see that on like a really big budget series with a lot of big name actors. So that was really fun to see. But I shot this here this night, and it actually made me kind of sad when I shot this here because, okay, first of all, there was 2 scooters that people leave around the city all the time, that people drive and just leave to be picked up. I moved them out of the way. They were back here behind the gate, and back here in the left corner off screen, there was a homeless person sleeping on the wall next to the river. There's like a little river right down here. It's not like a far drop or anything. It's like 3 feet maybe. And there was a homeless person sleeping in a sleeping bag there, and kind of made me sad a little bit. So yeah, it was kind of sucked to see, but this is our exterior shot of the Batcave. In this Batcave, we built completely from scratch for $200 in my parents' attic. This is in my parents' attic. We built all this. This is construction paper that we spray painted and crinkled up and taped to parts of the wall. And I don't know how many of you guys caught it, but that's not rock, that's paper. And you would never know it. And this was all Steve's idea. Steve does a lot of contract work, and he's so intuitive with building sets and building stuff like this. And this was his idea. And I was like, is this going to work? He's like, oh yeah, if we keep the low lighting and we, do it a certain way, we're going to make this work. And it absolutely fucking worked. And I love the way it looks. So Jackson, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream, buddy. In the movie Under the Red Hood. Oh, he does get blown up in that one? Okay. See, I didn't know that. So yeah, this was filmed in my parents' attic. Fun fact. That's in the attic? Yes. It's in an unfinished attic. Just like a standard attic. We just walk and store stuff in there. It's not finished off. There's no air conditioning up here or anything like that. That's the chimney. That's one of my parents' chimneys. Right here. It's crazy. And we wrapped this construction paper around 2 wooden beams that are holding up the attic. And it's still there. Yeah, my dad said in chat, it's still there. Parts of it have kind of fallen apart over time with the tape just losing its adhesiveness or whatever, but this is still up here. It's still in my parents' attic. I'll put it on Instagram when I go back to my parents' house again. And here's the big man himself, Bruce Wayne. And then this is our guy, John Witt, that we threw onto the ground because we love him so much. Thought that was real rock. No, it's all fake. John Witt, the only critique that I have of this version of Alfred is that he did have a hard time keeping up a British accent. But guess what? This version of Alfred immigrated at a very young age and has a southern accent, so get over it. But I love John. This is real wine. This is real wine. I think he actually got tipsy. I also really, really like this exchange between Steve and John here.
Is that for me? No, sir.
No, sir, for me. Helps calm the
nerves. You don't need to worry about me, Alfred.
I love it. I love these guys together.
Worry about you, sir.
They've worked together on several projects. I did a action short film that I co-wrote for the 48-hour film project back in 2019, and these two actually fought each other in that short film, so that was really fun. They've been friends for years and worked together.
You need to stop spending so much time beating up the
I also know like every line of this movie because I've edited it, I wrote it, and I just know everything. I know. I'm fine, Alfred. You can't keep sleeping through numbers calls and sending a proxy to client meetings. Lucius isn't a friend. Isn't a proxy. He's a friend and a good manager. That he is, sir. That he is. I know every line of this fucking movie. But yeah, a little Lucius Fox reference in there. Bat Attic. That's right. It's not a bat cave. It's a bat attic, Bobo. I've done background props for plays, so seeing this is pretty cool. I would love to bring in more people to do props and set design on some of our films. Like, you ever go to like an escape room? I've been to escape rooms so many times, and I'm like, can I hire you to build sets for like my films? Like, please? That was your mother on my YouTube channel? Oh, I'm sorry. Mom said that? Yeah, it sounds like something Mom would say. Thinking that was real rock. Do you like Alfred here? Yeah, I love Alfred. This is both of their wardrobes too.
I think it's very important that you at least consider doing.
So we shot both of the Batcave scenes in the same day. We shot this one and the one later on in the film the exact same day. We just had them change.
She's back.
The other side, where the camera is, none of that is done. This is all just on this side here. And he's basically walking into a wall because he turns a corner and it's basically just a wall back there. So And then he pops a squat, sips the wine. This is in Shaco Bottom in Richmond. Fun fact, and I didn't intend this when I got the shot originally. This is one of our favorite restaurants in Richmond. Since we've been living here the last few months. This is really good. I have not been to Chick-fil-A because why do I need to go to Chick-fil-A? This is a small business that has great chicken sandwiches. And they're really good. Really, really like them. And the building where we shot the Barbara Gordon and Vicky Vale scene was somewhere along... I think it's either this street or this one. It's somewhere here. We shoot a lot of stuff in the same area. It's just so efficient. Movie magic, baby. Yeah, Hot Chick is a really, really good restaurant. I don't know how many people caught this, and I was so nervous people were going to catch it. No one's... Maybe people have, and they're just too nice to tell me. This is the exact same place where we shot the scene with the two cops and Gordon and Alfred / John Witt on the ground playing the dead psychologist, and where we first are introduced to Batman. Batman was standing here. He comes into frame. The two cops were back here. My mouse is. John was on the ground here, and Ed was over here. So that was all shot right here, and this is outside the office where we also shot the scenes with Barbara Gordon. So this, again, all in the same vicinity. This is that office, and this is outside that office where we shot the first scene with the cops. So low lighting is the right decision. We also didn't have a whole lot of lights to work with. This is very, very... I didn't have the resources back then that I do now, and we didn't have a whole lot of light to work with, so I think some of the scenes could have been better lit personally. If I were doing it now, I would have lit the scenes probably a little bit better because I have more resources and friends and lights that I have access to that I can use. But yeah, we used a lot of just practical lighting that was either in the area or on the street, what have you. And when we did need light, it was usually a couple like portable lights on tripods. Very, very low budget. Very ghetto ass filmmaking, right? That was the same place I didn't notice. Yeah, this is the exact same place. Hold on, what timestamp is this? 12:38. This, hold on. All right, so keep this in your brains. Keep this in your brains. Right there, that's the door. That's the door right there. Laying down here. And if you go back to 12:38, where we just were, right here. Look at that door. Oh, shit, sorry. Right there. That's where they were. Same spot. It's pretty cool, right? Now you can't unsee it. You're like, God, this guy was lazy that made this. No, it's fine. So this was an interesting idea. So Xavier, the co-producer, and my friend, who's a cinematographer on Sutherland, my upcoming horror film. I'm going to keep plugging it so you guys follow it on Instagram and shit. So he had this idea, and it worked out pretty well, I think. So this shot is reversed. In order to do this shot, to make it look like the rope was pulling towards him, we actually shot it with him grabbing like this and going forward, because we wanted the rope to look like it was like wrapping around his neck. So in this scene, we shot this with him starting here and going forward, and then in the editing room, your boy just reversed it. So this is reversed here, the shot. There. To make it look like the whip's like coming at him and pulling towards him.
Hi there.
Hey, Mike! Mike?
So, pretty cool little tidbit there.
You should listen to him, Mike.
No, I'll let her...
All of her dialogue here is ADR. If you don't know what ADR is, it's automated dialogue replacement. It's all dialogue and audio that is recorded not on set, but in post-production. So a lot of Catwoman's dialogue, we had a lot of sound issues on set because the sound mixing wasn't done properly, and also Amanda's very soft-spoken, which again, it's not her problem. It's you know, Catwoman's supposed to be kind of like soft-spoken, seductive, whatever. But a lot of the sound wasn't captured properly to begin with. It's fine, rookie mistakes, it happens. So a lot of her dialogue is ADR. Everything you hear in this scene was not recorded on set. We just dubbed it in post. So these are Falcone's guys, and they obviously have a history because he says, I'm not going to let her get away again. And in the process of trying to shoot Catwoman, he ends up shooting his own dude. So There's a couple blood splats there. It's kind of hard to see, though. It's really dark. And then the whole thing is that she's supposed to crawl up that crate and then jump down and basically whip him. I like how that syncs up with the music there. If you guys, the swings sync up with the boom, boom of the drums here. Listen. I didn't plan that either. This kind of worked out that way in the editing room. So, and Catwoman was just kind of playing with him here a little bit. It's like a cat and a mouse, you know? Yeah. And Amanda, I'm sorry I didn't introduce her. This is Amanda K Leibsy. She plays Lives. I always mispronounce it. Is it Leibsy? Leibsy? How do you pronounce her last name? Amanda K Leibsy was our Catwoman, and she sent us the best audition out of anybody. We had a ton of auditions come in for Catwoman, and she just nailed it. She just hit the nail on the head. And it also helped because she has like that gymnast sort of like combat experience already. Like I think she's done a lot of gym work and stuff already. So she knew how to kick and all that stuff. She was doing like in between takes, she was doing splits and stuff like that. So she knew her stuff. She knew how to like jump and roll around and all that stuff. So she was very, very accommodating to what I wanted when I was like, kick this way, do a spin kick. She did it time and time and time again. And she did a great job. She did an awesome job. She's got a lot of stamina and she just did great. Super, super happy. Doesn't even look the same. That's right, baby. I didn't know it was a reverse shot. I thought you planned that music swing. I actually didn't. I just picked that song, and while I was editing, I noticed that it happened to sync up, and I was like, oh, that works. Yeah, but she did this roundhouse kick a few times, and worked out pretty well. And this is Pete Cloutier. He's a really cool guy, too. I've worked with him. Was it just on this project? I feel like I've worked with him a couple times, but I think I've just worked with him on this. Really nice guy, too. And then she grabs her whip, and she is out. We originally had a jewelry bag for her that we were going to do, and it just, I don't know why we decided not to do it. But yeah, we didn't. We originally had one for her, and it just, I think she has it on her side. Let me see. Is that it? I thought we gave her a bag to put a jewel in, but we ended up just having her take it out of her corset here. So originally we were going to give her a bag, and it just didn't look right. There was nowhere to put it that felt natural. So she just ends up taking a jewel that she robbed from Falcone's jewelry store and just tosses it on him. Like, yeah, I got the better of you. This is basically for trying. Like, here's your trophy for trying, sort of thing. And she dips out. She did a lot in those heels. Made it look very, very easy. She was in heels for like half the film. I don't know how she did it. She's a beast. I don't mean to dox myself, but this is right outside my apartment. I literally got this shot from standing at my apartment and flying my drone around it on the other side. But yeah, this is actually where we shot the rooftop scene. So you can see this factory-looking building here. It's in the next shot behind Batman. I'll show you where it is. This is a cold night too. And then back, you can't really see it too well, but the factory's back there.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Was this the first scene that we shot with her? No, it wasn't. Was this the first scene we shot with Amanda? I can't remember. I think it was the second one. We were stupid and tried to shoot 3 scenes in one night, and it did not work. Don't do that. Give yourself more than enough time if you're making a film. We tried shooting 3 scenes in one night. We tried shooting, I forget the first one. I honestly, I could not tell you what the first scene was. Anyways, we shot one scene, and then we went here and shot the next one, and then we went back to my parents' house to shoot the intimate scene between Bruce and Selena that you see after this. We shot that scene afterwards, but everyone was tired, and it was not turning out very well. We almost got the whole thing, but poor Amanda was basically falling asleep. And even my cinematographer, Michael, was falling asleep. Like, I literally saw him in between takes at one point in the camera, like, nodding off like this. It was funny, but I was also like, okay, we need to wrap this up. Shooting 3 scenes in a night is just, it's undoable. It's torture. So we called it quits, and she came back another weekend, and we shot that scene again. So we basically shot the romance scene when they're sitting on the couch together twice.
They are.
The first time just wasn't very good. That factory building is the one you saw in the drone shot,
There's
right behind
jewelry store I robbed
Bruce.
belongs to Falcon. So it's fine.
Yeah, that's it. Also, another fun fact, again, because the audio and the sound, we shot this next to a busy street and also a rushing river. Every bit of sound that you hear in this scene is not real, or it's ADR. His dialogue is ADR. Hers was done ADR in post as well. The river that you hear, I mean, you guys probably won't hear it on stream, but if you go back and listen to it, the cars you hear, sound effects, the river, sound effects, everything you hear was done in post. None of the sound that you hear in this scene was on set captured sound. So 4 hours on heels hurts like hell. Oh yeah, and she was in them for a long time. No doubt. I'm playing Batman Arkham Origins Black game on PC while watching your masterpiece. Masterpiece is it's a big word, man. I appreciate that. That means a lot. Are you submitting to film festivals? Possibly. I need to look and see what we can do with film festivals, Ed. I'd like to. I'm just not sure because it's hard when it's a fan film. You don't own the property. You don't own the rights to the characters. So it's a little tricky there. But I'm going to look into it. I kind of would rather save my money and submit Sutherland to a bunch of film festivals, but potentially, yes, we will submit this. I need to look into it, though. It's a possibility. But yeah, none of the audio you hear in this is like the background stuff and their dialogue. None of this is on set sound. So it's all ADR in the scene. All of it.
It's not.
All of it is, yes.
What's the matter? You don't approve? We have different ways of getting what we
The sound
want.
effects of her touching him and the heels,
What exactly do you
the
want?
crickets and stuff. It's all done in post by your boy.
You do miss me.
You're better than this.
I heard about those heart attacks with the weird drawings. And I heard through the grapevine that Gordon asked you to look into it.
How did you?
People talk.
So yeah, we don't really explicitly explain how she hears about it, but Catwoman gets around, she knows people. She's kind of in the grimy parts of Gotham, and she heard through the grapevine the last couple days about all these strange heart attacks. So again, we don't really explain it that much, but it's like it's a short film. Shut up.
I'll tell you, if you let me be your partner in crime.
No crime.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to work with her. So obviously here
Be your partner, and I'll
they have a history. If you guys couldn't tell by watching this in their dialogue, they have a history together. He doesn't want to work with her because Catwoman doesn't play by his rules. Catwoman is completely fine with killing people. He is not. That's Batman's whole shtick is he doesn't kill people. She is totally fine with it.
fun is that?
And he doesn't want to work with her because she's basically a liability. She's a walking, talking, liability that he's sexually attracted to.
We're just
And,
talking business.
Can't have that.
Of course.
So she basically invites herself over to Wayne Manor to talk about it because she tells him, I have information about this case that could help you. And she's not going to give it to him easily. She's going to make him basically beg for it, and she's going to invite himself over to her place. This is not my parents' house. This is called the Virginia House. Very, very beautiful historical home. Do I have permission to shoot this? I don't know, but I did it anyway, and I wasn't on the property for it. But people walk by all the time and drive by and take pictures and videos of this historical home all the time. I think it's been used in a couple movies before. It's very it's all stone and Gothic looking. And when I saw this, I was like, this is the perfect house to be Wayne Manor. I think it's absolutely perfect. So this house exterior here is not this. This is my parents' house in their den.
I think I found something. Connection.
And again, this is the second time we shot this scene. The second time we shot. First time did not work. And again, this report I filled out and did all that myself. This is also, I believe, real wine. Might be grape juice. Can't remember. We probably shouldn't use real alcohol on set, and I'm probably throwing myself under a bus by saying this, but we did use real wine in this short film in Agent 48 as well, where Steve was also drinking. We make a lot of people drink wine in my short films, but in my other action short film that you guys can check out on my channel, Steve was drinking wine for that too. And it was real wine. I think he said he got a little tipsy for it, so that was fun.
Psychiatrist, Dr. Johnson. He knew one of the victims.
So this is the whole scene when Bruce basically puts together that all of the victims know each other and they're all kind of tied to Gotham University. And he hypothesizes, well, what if those murders are also tied to the university? But it's like the whole mystery is, why are those murders like these?
3 college kids and then weeks later killed
Yeah, brutal murders at a college, and then you have all these other people that are just killed more strategically. And Scarecrow explains later what he did. Again, a lot of her audio here. I think all of it is ADR as well. You can tell though if you listen to it because his audio sounds different than hers. This is in-camera audio from him. The boom audio just did not sound good, so I used in-camera audio. That's why it sounds so far away, which I know sound is the worst part of this film. I get it, but her audio is ADR here. We did this in post.
Later killed 3 more people, leaving little to no evidence.
It's Gotham City, for Christ's sakes. I mean, random murders happen all the time.
I mean, I tried my best to make it sound like they were in the same area, but I'm not a sound designer, I'm not a sound mixer, so I did my best, and I was like, that's good enough. So, but yeah.
The 5 of the 6 victims are connected to the university.
What do you know the cops, Selena?
What do you know of the cops, Selena?
She's playing hard to get here. She's smiling at him, teasing him a little bit.
If you wouldn't let me bring it up at dinner. How did you know all
Obviously, he's real fired. My mom started for this for the scene.
He flirted with me the other night at Cooper's. You know the bar in East End?
I picked Cooper's as the bar name because that's the bar that they frequently go to in the office. And yes, I'm serious. I'm a huge Office fan. Excuse me. I was playing now, but I'm switching to watching and playing. I will wait until the end of your fan film to explain my sequel ideas for you. Yeah, dude, go for it. I'm excited to hear them. Catwoman almost sounds like who is that? I was like, who? Thought you meant the actor. What about the actor? What about the actor, King?
Bought me a couple drinks and tried to.
So this is when she tries to make him jealous by saying that she met the cop. And again, that's the guy that died in the very beginning. She met him at a bar, and she's using the whole fact that she met this guy and talked to him as, you know, as evidence just to try to get to Bruce's house. His whole objective here is he is trying his best to only talk about the case and his detective work with her. Her whole objective here is she basically wants to sleep with Bruce. She knows she can kind of manipulate Bruce Wayne a little bit with her charm, and that's basically what she's doing here. It's been a while since they've seen each other, and she even says that in a little bit. They were separated from some time. We don't really explain why, but basically Catwoman was out of Gotham doing her own thing, and now she's back, and the two of them are reconnecting after a long time. That's one of the reasons why she is so attached to him, is because it's been so long since they've seen each other. She just wants to rekindle that with him. And yeah, I mean, if you hadn't seen the person you loved in a long time, you'd probably want to get intimate with them too. It's been like a year or two since you've seen them.
Well, what else did he
But
talk
she's trying to pick up where they left off, so to speak. And he's like, yeah, no.
He talked about the night scheme.
But in this sequence here, she tries to make him jealous by saying that this cop that she met up with, which was Officer Angus, who we saw at the beginning, who died, she mentions that he tried to slip her hand, like he flirted with her and tried to slip his hand up her skirt and stuff like that. She tries to make him jealous. And originally we had in the script, and we even shot it, where he says, "Did you let him?" And in the editing process, I didn't like it. I didn't like that she says, "He flirted with me and tried to slip his hand up my skirt," and then he responds, "Did you let him?" And she says, "No." That bit of conversation felt really awkward to me, and I like it better that he just kind of nonchalantly just brushes it off, like, "Yeah, I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to make me jealous. It's not going to work." That's better than him, I think, directly just saying, "Oh, did you let him touch you?" Like, it's just, that didn't feel like Bruce Wayne to me, so I'm glad that I edited that out.
Bar in East End. Bought me a couple drinks and tried to slip his hand up my skirt.
Well, what else did he talk about?
Yeah, so I just cut to him saying, what else did he talk about? Because originally it's him saying, "Did you let him?" And she said no, and then he says, "What else did you talk about?" So we cut out that little bit because it felt a little awkward to me. And then she's pissed here. She's visibly upset that he's not taking the bait. She's trying to get him to be jealous. and he's not really taking the bait, so he's just focused on the case, and she's getting pissed.
Did he know it?
And that's when she reveals that Officer Angus kind of knows, like, starts talking about how he knew, like, Jonathan Crane and Jonathan Crane's ties to the university and stuff like that. And then after looking into it on his phone, he discovers this guy might have been responsible. He has a track record of doing some pretty crazy things. Shot a gun off in class.
Now he did say
So
one of your victims,
Sherry Squires,
a student
was a student of that crazy professor. So I think in this one we decided that Sherry Squires would be a student, not a love interest. Maybe she was both. Who knows? She could be a student and a love interest.
He happened to mention the professor.
Sorry, I got to bounce. You take care. I learned a whole lot behind the scenes. Yoko, thanks for coming out, and I will post this as a video at the very, very end. So thanks for coming out and hanging with me, Yoko. I appreciate that. Gonna be for a bit. Legion is done. All right, no worries, man. Appreciate it.
No.
Yeah, and that's when she says she doesn't know the name, and then he searches on his phone, and this is her excuse to get closer to him. Like, he's searching stuff on his phone. She's like, oh, I'm gonna get closer and see what he's looking at. But she's just using this, him playing on his phone as an excuse to get as close as possible to him.
Here it is. Dr. Jonathan Crane, a psychology professor at Gotham.
This is really Aaron. This is really the actor that plays Scarecrow, and he actually went out of his way and took this photo for the film. Kind of had like a crazy look in his eye. And yeah, this whole fake document or fake article, I wrote that too. This is really what Steve is saying. It's not just mumbo jumbo. Like, I actually wrote all this stuff out. And
was arrested on
yeah,
Monday after firing a hand.
that's our boy Aaron, who plays Scarecrow. It's pretty cool.
Which resulted in one of his students getting shot and wounded. Crane's class was focused on exploring the psychology behind fears and phobias.
Yeah, and that's the backstory. We decided to go with Scarecrow. Was he brought a gun in class and wanted to do a demonstration, and ended up shooting and basically injuring a kid and almost killing one.
His good behavior and lack of criminal history.
Yeah.
Dr. Crane was released from Gotham State after serving only 18 months. It means he's out. I need to get in touch with Gordon.
And then this is when he realizes, hey, this guy might actually be responsible for this stuff. And then as he's trying to leave, she's basically like, she's not being subtle anymore. She's basically like, yeah, no, let's basically hang out. It's been a while since we've seen each other. Let's get drunk and see what happens. So, and again, all of their dialogue here had to be done in ADR because they were way too close, and we were using camera audio.
Agreed to meet tonight if we discussed work.
Like, his audio here was done in post-production too.
Right?
Both of them. Both their audios.
I think we made some great progress, but
Both their dialogue was all ADR.
you didn't invite me over just to discuss work.
This is interesting to shoot her. Yeah, that was interesting to shoot. I was like, all right, get closer, get closer. Oh, God. Yeah, this is a... I think they enjoyed filming this scene.
I don't think that we should.
And then I added the kissing sounds in post. She wasn't actually kissing his neck here. I didn't want to have like this whole make-out session for this. I basically wanted them to like start to get intimate, not even get to the point where they're kissing, and then that's when Alfred calls and interrupts them. But yeah, all the kissing you hear on the neck is all done in... Those are all sound effects done in post-production. She didn't actually do that. So, man's got 71% charge that, right? He does. I gotta go to bed around 11 before I just let you know. All right, sounds good, man. No worries. You gotta dip. That's when he decides to go. He's using Alfred as basically a way out because he knows that if he does this with her again, he's gonna be roped in. He's gonna be roped into Catwoman again if he sleeps with her and stuff. So he's like, I'm just gonna remove myself from the situation and get back to the work that I know. I didn't know so much the audio was ADR. A lot of it was. A lot of it. If you listen with headphones and stuff, you might be able to tell. If you're just watching on your phone or whatever, you might not be able to tell. But if you're listening with headphones or a good speaker or sound bar or something, a lot of it, some of the audio does sound off. But all that scene when they were up close and personal with each other, the camera was too far away, the in-camera audio was too far away, and the boom audio just didn't sound good. So we just did it all in post. So, and again, this scene was shot the same day that we shot the other Batcave scene. I pulled up some drone photography. On the right one, and then did some just frequencies and stuff to make it look like Alfred's doing something here. And there's a couple little gadgets here. This is a grappling hook, and these are 2 batarangs here. I don't know if you guys caught this, but this is just like little background props that Steve had from other Batman-related short films he's done. So we got the little gauntlet there, or not gauntlet. What is it? What is this? The Infinity Gauntlet? This isn't Marvel. He's got the grappling hook, and then the 2 batarangs here. And then I think that's just Steve's phone. So
That's all right, Alfred.
I've been listening in on the police scan. There's been another heart attack. This time in Robbinsville. I heard them say something about
strange drawings. So this other death in Robbinsville was never actually explained. But when Scarecrow talks about the victims that he kills later on, the last victim that he kills here, or that goes insane and dies, was for me, when I wrote it and envisioned it, was his mother. Because his whole backstory here was that he was abused by his mom. I think in one of the comic origins, Scarecrow was abused by his grandmother, and I think kills his grandma or something like that. So this version of Scarecrow was abused by his mother when he was younger, and as he goes on this whole killing rampage of people that have wronged him from the university, he kills one from Robbinsville, which was his mom. And again, I probably should have done a better job at explaining that, but a lot of the stuff we were figuring out as we were shooting it. So next time I write something like this, or a sequel, or any short film, I'll plan everything out as much as I can. But yeah, a lot of this stuff was figured out while we were filming. So doesn't prepped and thought out as well as it could have been in some ways, but as long as people are enjoying it, that's great. I mean, I'm still happy with it overall, but knowing what I know now, there's a lot of things I would have changed and included and taken away about this. There's 1,000 things I would change about this movie, but I'm also really happy with how it turned out and stuff overall.
Oh, and Alfred.
There's my parents' chimney in the background, right there.
Don't tell her where I went.
As you
And that's when he tells him, yeah, I don't want her to follow me. Because, again, we established that Catwoman doesn't play by Batman's rules. She kills people. She doesn't care. She's kind of ruthless. So she doesn't value life the way Batman does. So he's like, she's a liability. Don't tell her that where I'm going. So at this point, he is locating Jonathan Crane's address and going to go find him. So originally here, I wanted to do another drone shot of like a back road street and maybe like do like a CGI Batmobile go like down the road or something like that. But we didn't have time to do it. It just didn't work out. So we didn't do it. But this is Rayford and John Black's home that they kindly let us use. And again, huge shout out to them. This is where we shot, obviously. This shot, the cornfield was on the same property, and also the warehouse sequence where the climax of the film takes place was all on the same property. And these are friends of my parents, and they were so accommodating, and I cannot thank them enough for it. But actually, there were a couple people in the house, and I needed the lights off for this shot, so I basically ran inside, told them to shut all the lights off, and then yeah,
Alfred.
then we shot it. Also here, fun fact, it was so hot this night, we filmed this in the middle of the summer. Actually, no, we filmed it in October, I think. It was either late summer or early fall. Anyways, it was really hot this night. He was sweating in this cowl, and you see some of it a little bit later. He was sweating here, and it looked like a tear was rolling down his face. I'm not joking. It was like there was a huge tear running down his eye right here. I had Brandon Norwood, who did the VFX for this film. He removed it digitally for me. And again, I can't thank him enough that for doing that, because it was a huge help. Because it was so distracting, because it looked like Batman was like crying, like he's talking to Gordon. It just looked weird because the sweat was pouring through the cowl. So we had to remove that giant sweat. Like you could, if you can look, you're probably not gonna be able to see it on stream because of the quality, but you can see the glistening of the sweat along his jaw part of the cowl right here, because
Farmhouse outside.
he was sweating his ass off.
There doesn't appear to be anybody home.
Something doesn't feel right about this. So we go to the side of the house. The moon was out bright that night. It provided a lot of natural light, which is good. This is cool.
Alfred, I think I see something.
And that's like an actual Scarecrow that Steve and his son, who was one of the extras that gets taken out by Batman at the beginning, they built this Scarecrow, or they bought it. And this pumpkin that we'll see in a little bit is my parents. They've had it since I was a child, and every Halloween they prop it up somewhere in the house. And I've always loved that pumpkin. I used to see it coming down the stairs when I was a kid. I would go down my parents' house, and there was like this little end table right at the bottom of the stairs, and the pumpkin would just be staring at you as you walk down the stairs. And my mom would keep it on sometimes at night when all the other lights in the house were off, I think. And I just remember I've always loved this pumpkin. Always loved it. And it's such a stupid thing to like, but it's like something that was a part of my childhood that I got excited about. I loved seeing that pumpkin as a kid in my parents' house, and my mom still uses it. And it was really fun to include that in the film, because I'm like, I need a pumpkin, and I thought about using a real one, but I'm like, let's just use this fake one. It's gonna be so much easier than like cutting out a pumpkin and trying to put a light in it and stuff. It would just be too much of a headache. But were you able to make a CGI model of the Batmobile? I did not. No, we didn't do any of that. I just scrapped it completely because we didn't have time. So, but yeah, dude, I'd love to see some of your stuff. If you have a demo reel in Blender, I'd love to see it, man. I'm fascinated. I've been trying to dive into more VFX stuff as well. I need to learn about it. Didn't you film something in the barn at Grandma's house? So my upcoming horror film, Sutherland, which I've mentioned like 10 times already tonight, that was filmed entirely at my grandparents' house. And again, if you follow on social media, go to Instagram, Sutherland_film. You'll see it pop up. But yeah, I shot that in the summer, but that's the next film that will be released early next year. That was filmed entirely at my grandparents' Civil War era home. And yeah, we shot that on a 200-year-old barn. Really, really awesome. But now it has a new hole. It is. I was going to dive into that later. That pumpkin of yours, along with your Scarecrow plus Catwoman, all make the film almost like a Batman Long Halloween. Yeah, that's what we're trying to go for. We wanted this to be... We took inspiration from that comic, and we wanted this to be a Halloween film. There's a reason I released it 2 days before Halloween. This is, at its core, a Halloween film. 100%. His audio here is ADR as well. And also in the other shot when he was out front. All ADR. This is another one of my favorite shots of the whole film. When we just pan down from the moon and Batman's just slowly walking up to the Scarecrow. Love this shot. This was Steve's idea here. To have this thing move. We don't explain why it moves. We don't know if it's an automated thing or if it's the wind. We don't know what it is, but we wanted this Scarecrow to turn ominously at Batman, and it never is explained why. Is it being controlled? Is there a camera in there and Scarecrow's watching him? How did he know he was coming up there? It's never really explained, and we wanted it to be ambiguous. But yeah, you can hear the creaking, and you see it turn towards Batman here. And we had Sam down here turning the whole thing. I think he had like a broom or something underneath the shirt of the Scarecrow and turned it. He was like hiding like this underneath just out of frame. He was like down here, and there was like a broom coming up behind it, and he was just turning it. It looked so funny. But movie magic, baby. That's what it's about. I love this shot coming up here. So there's a close-up of my parents' pumpkin, and then as he touches it to investigate, boom. So let's talk about this a little bit. Because this is fun. Chicken mask time, that's right. That's right. You're gonna see these dope-ass animal masks. And Pumpkin was a great actor, really delivered his lines. He did his part. He was a little sick. He obviously threw up on Batman, but he did a good job. When would you like me to model you a Batman? I can send it to you by email. If you want, dude. I got my email on my YouTube channel under the About section. You're welcome to send it there if you want. All right, so let's talk about this a little bit. So again, this is my parents' pumpkin. So here's what we did here to get this effect to work. I cut out a hole. This is like really kind of, I don't know what material this is, but it was relatively soft. So I cut a hole in the back of the pumpkin and basically gave it a butthole. And I'm not joking. So when he crouches down here, here's what happens. I was on the other side of this, and I had a tiny smoke machine. Again, this is my parents' smoke machine. I was on the other side of the pumpkin. For this shot, at least, what we tried to do is we cut a hole in the pumpkin, and we tried to put the hole of the smoke machine to the pumpkin's butthole and shoot smoke through the mouth and through the eyes, and it was going to look awesome. But it wasn't really working out very well. The smoke just kind of kept coming out of the back part here. It wasn't going through the pumpkin like we wanted. It just kept coming out the back. So what I did was I literally, on the other side of this pumpkin, I have the smoke machine just sitting on the other side of it. It's just to the left side on the grass, and I pressed the button and just aimed it so that it looks like it's coming out of the mouth. So in this scene, the smoke is not actually coming out of the mouth. It's beside the pumpkin, and it's coming out next to it. So again, it would basically be the equivalent of me sitting here like this and holding a fog machine right here, and me going like that. It's kind of like that whole trick you did like in elementary school where you're like, or you like pretend to put something in your mouth. And, you know, you do it like that. It's like a visual trick or whatever the hell. That's basically what we did here. Just put the smoke machine right next to it. So yeah, it's not actually coming out of the mouth. And then for this shot, I just aimed it up towards Batman. And yeah. And we did this scene a ton of times and redid the smoke for every take, and it looks awesome. This is another shot that this is one of my favorites, probably of the whole film. I just love the way this looks. I love the way it's just glowing. It's just in the smoke billowing out. When we got this on set that night, I was so happy. I was like, this is so creepy. And this is when he starts humming and singing that nursery rhyme again. And this is kind of his whole point of view. He's walking along the cornfield, and this is when he jumps out of Batman. And obviously,
Give it up.
because he's wearing a mask, all of Aaron's dialogue had to be done in ADR. We had to do it all in post. But yeah, so for this scene, all of Batman's dialogue was ADR, and so was Scarecrow. It's crazy how much is ADR, and a lot of films that you watch, a lot of it's done in post. You don't realize it, but a lot of it is not sound that's captured on set. And this is an example of that. This is all ADR, and all of Scarecrow's is ADR because obviously he was wearing the mask. So
Crane, I know it's you. You're the one killing these people.
there's no Crane here. I like this shot a lot too.
Only
Scarecrow. So
This won't end well for you.
he's sweating a lot here. You can actually see him because it was so hot out. So let's talk about this. So I had another mask that I bought for the film. Really, it wasn't really expensive, but it was like a $200 mask, and we never ended up using it because we put it on Aaron and he could not see anything out of it. So this goes back to what I said at the very beginning when I said that Chris, who played Officer Angus at the very, very beginning, the first scene, he was a godsend because this was his mask that he brought to set. We didn't ask him to bring it. He brought it just in case we needed a backup Scarecrow mask. We didn't tell him to do it. He just did it. And once we got to set, we tried using the mask that I bought on Etsy for like $200. It looks cool. It looks creepy as hell, but it just didn't work. So we put on... Chris was like, well, I have an extra Scarecrow mask I can use in my car. I brought it in case you guys might need it. And I was like, are you serious? He was like, yeah. And so we put that on, and that's the one we ended up using, and it's great. Another little Easter egg that's hard to see in this shot, but you might see it later. This was Aaron's idea. He is wearing a dark red and green colored shirt, like Freddy Krueger. So, little Nightmare on Elm Street reference there. He has a Freddy Krueger t-shirt. Or not t-shirt, but like sweater hiding under there. You'll see it more when they're in the barn, but yeah, that was all Aaron's idea. And cool little Easter egg there.
we shall see.
This scene was pretty fun to shoot.
Even unpoisoned, you still manage to hold your own. Hey, give it a second to marinate. You'll really feel it.
What the hell did you do?
Do you like it?
This is when he starts hallucinating. While editing, I kind of doubled the shot and made it look kind of like a hallucination. And the only reason Scarecrow is even able to come toe-to-toe with Batman is because he's completely poisoned here. He wouldn't normally be able to do this. And this is when we start seeing that weird fade effect and stuff from Batman's perspective, because he is losing it at this point.
Save me, help me, Batman.
And this is when we see his greatest fear. So Batman's greatest fear is failure and failing the people he loves and not being able to save people, like his parents and Robin and all that stuff. So, like when he's like, save me, help me, Batman, you're the reason I'm dead. He's basically hearing the voices of his parents and Robin and all the other people in Gotham and friends and people that he knows that he wasn't able to save.
Those must be the voices of those you couldn't save. I too heard the voices, but from those who torment.
And this is when he explains that all the victims that we've seen that have died so far in the film have been people that he was close to or knew. But basically, this is him explaining everybody that has wronged him and their ties to him, and each victim and who they are to him. So, like his students, his peers, his professors. Dr. Johnson was his professor. His peers. I don't know that we actually explicitly mentioned who his peers. Oh yeah, his peers were the people that he brutally murdered, or actually no, those were the college kids. And then Sherry Squires was one of his students at one point and a love interest. So, yeah, this is him explaining all that. Then when he says his mother also abused him, that's the lady in Robbinsville. But, and then he talks about the cop doing unspeakable things to him in prison. The cop basically abused him in a lot of ways, took advantage of him, yada, yada, yada. The cop was not very kind to him at all. That's the same one, Officer Angus, who arrested him. So, yeah. So let's keep going here. Let me explain my sequel policy. Let's wait for the end, Tony. Then I'll hear them from you.
By peers, professors, students, my own mother, and that cop. That vicious pig did unspeakable things to me at Gotham State Penitentiary.
So they got cut out here before anything was before you guys heard it. I think the stream cut out here, but I like this shot a lot too. And I was the guy in the dog German Shepherd mask that you see. So we have all the guys in the 4 animal masks that are, I believe they're all from the nursery rhyme, the Dingle Dingle Scarecrow one that I mentioned earlier on.
Their voices haunted me.
So this is Sam. This is the actor who plays Batman. This is Steve's son, who plays the chicken Scarecrow mask. I still have this mask. Actually, right here. Take a look. I used to use this on my gaming streams on Twitch. People would redeem a certain amount of channel points. I would have to wear this stupid mask on stream for people. I still have this in my possession. Right here. This is the mask from the film. It's going to be a bidding war. We're starting at $500 if you guys want this infamous mask worn on the set of Batman Dawn of Fear. If you guys want it, here it is. This is the exact mask worn in the movie. And again, the bid starts at $500. This is a big deal, guys. It's a big mask, okay? Big deal. But this was Sam. This was Steve's son, and then let me play it real quick.
So I had.
How are we doing connection-wise? We good? We're good. Cool.
To silence them.
And this guy that comes out. Okay, so this is Sam, and again, that was the guy that gets pulled away at the very, very beginning, that you see. And during when Batman is attacking these people. The guy in the dog mask is me during the scene. Our other actor who plays him was not available, so I did it. This guy in the cow mask was the African-American guy who was also in the first scene who gets taken by Batman. And this guy here in the dove mask is also Officer Angus, the long-haired guy, Chris, who supplied the Scarecrow mask and was a huge help on set. This is the actor who played Officer Angus. This is Chris here. So again, we reused a lot of the same actors, and I even put myself in here for this scene. So I really like that shot when they all come out together. It's cool.
I was impulsive and careless with my
500. That's a steal. It's worth at least 5,000. That's right, Bobo. 100%.
students. Left behind too much of a mess. So I created a serum, nearly undetectable, and I made the others truly suffer. And
So the first few kids the kids that he kills at Gotham University, he killed as just haphazardly. He didn't think much of it. He just kind of eviscerated those kids, just kind of brutally killed them and left behind And then he realized, if I'm going to kill the people that wronged me, I need to be smart about this and not leave a trace behind it. So then he develops the serum, which causes these people to go crazy. So not only is he hiding himself from the cops by not leaving any traces of a murder behind, it just looks like a heart attack, he's also making his worst enemies and the people who have wronged him go mentally insane and die of a heart attack, as opposed to just, oh, you're stabbed or you're shot and you're dead. He's actually making them suffer like he wanted to.
And I made the others truly suffer. And then you came along, Batman, poking your nose where it doesn't belong.
Take him.
Take him.
His voice is so cool. I love Scarecrow's voice in this too, and I'm glad everyone else did. And I've been told by every single person, I'd love to hear differently if somebody has a different opinion. Every person I've talked to has said this was their favorite scene in the whole movie, and it's probably mine as well. I love this whole cornfield scene, starting from when Batman gets over there and he gets poisoned and all that stuff. I just love the atmosphere. I love Aaron's look here with the scythe. You can't see it very well. Let me get rid of my webcam and stuff real quick. But his webcam and stuff, not his webcam, my webcam, sorry. His scythe here just looks sick, and the way he's just, his whole demeanor here is just absolutely perfect. So this was me walking over. This was really awkward because I had to try to carry him with one hand while the other hand was on a garden tool. What did he use, a hoe or something? I don't remember. I don't remember what I used, but this was really awkward to try to carry him. So he just kind of fell into our arms because he's supposed to be hallucinating. He's supposed to kind of turn around to like try to fight us, but he just kind of falls into our arms. It almost looks a little bit like he's going willingly, which I didn't want, but I don't think it really bothered many people. And at the end of the day, I was happy with it, but he's supposed to kind of turn to fight us and it just kind of falls. This score in the drone shot, this scene in the drone shots, yeah. This scene is it was pretty fun to shoot too, and I'm glad people liked it. You couldn't tell you used the same actors? That's because they got masks, man. They know what to tell. All right, so this scene here, we cut to Vicky Vale seeing what's going on. I wanted to do another drone shot, but I didn't get to do one. I was like, doesn't matter, we don't need it. So this is Vicky Vale seeing Batman basically getting taken into the warehouse. Because she used the police scanner, figured out what was going on, heard the chatter probably with Gordon, and figured this is where the cops were going. Because at this point, Batman's alerted the cops to where he was going. So Vicky Vale is kind of chasing behind, trying to get that next story, that next scoop as to what's going on. She's just desperate to get anything, so here she is figuring out what's going on with Batman. So here you can see the shirt in full view. This is the Freddy Krueger shirt that Aaron wore. And again, I'm sure you guys probably could all tell, this is the same warehouse that's in the very, very first scene. So it kind of starts and ends, this is where he's basically taking, not all of them, but some of his victims too. So this is the same exact place that Officer Angus died in during the very first scene where he's saying the whole roosting and scratching the chalk into the ground. So this is where he takes Batman to let him go crazy and do his thing. And this scene was fun too. I got some. So this scene was definitely inspired by Batman Arkham Asylum, the video game, which is where Batman gets poisoned by Scarecrow, and he starts hallucinating and seeing his parents a little bit. So I kind of took inspiration from that video game that I played many years ago. This is Jeremy Whitehead. Cool kid. He's playing the Switch the whole time on set. He was really cool. He plays the young Bruce Wayne here, and another one of my favorite shots of the city of him. This is at the Churchill Overlook in Richmond of him looking out beyond the city. And this is actually where I got that drone shot earlier during the day, before the office sequence with Barbara and Vicky. I got that drone shot flying right here. But yeah, this is all hallucination. I tinted everything green to, kind of like Scarecrow to make it look like, okay, this is not reality. This is obviously some otherworldly perspective here. And I added the whole weird effect in the background.
Why didn't you save us? You should have done something. You are no hero.
All right, so this is Richard Siegelman, who plays Thomas Wayne, and this is Olga how do you pronounce her last name? It's Russian. Kutsunova, I believe is how you pronounce her name. They were both really, really fun to work with. So as you can see here, Bruce is hallucinating and seeing his dead parents. It's really hard to see, and I wish, again, this was on me. I should have made it more clear, but she has a gunshot in her neck. You kind of can't really see it, but there's supposed to be like a little bit of blood here. His is a little bit more visible. This is a bullet wound, because again, as everybody knows, Bruce Wayne's parents died when he was a kid. He took him to the theater, and they were shot and killed by somebody mugging the streets, and that's why he takes up the mantle later to become Batman, because he wanted to stop people from dying the way his parents did, and that's that's a lot of who Batman is. So here we have basically their wounds from where they died and how they died. Now here's the big thing about this scene. First things first, it was snowing here, and we did not plan this. This is not a snow machine. It just actually started snowing when we filmed this. Number two, this is a funny little behind-the-scenes tidbit. Richard approached me and said that he had an idea for what he wanted to do with Thomas Wayne's voice, because he envisioned this as them basically being like zombies because they're undead, right? So I decided to let them have fun with it and see what he wanted to do. She didn't do it at all, but he wanted to do this whole zombie thing. And I was like, okay. So I decided, I want to let him try it out for the first take. So for the first take, when he says, "Bruce, why didn't you save us?" He goes, "Bruce, why didn't you save us?" Like some otherworldly creature. And I was like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. I was like, no, I appreciate you bringing something to the role. I appreciate you having your own ideas and stuff, because I want my actors to have their own ideas and their own, I want them to bring something to the role themselves and stuff like that. And I like that he came to me and said, hey, I have an idea, let's do this. And it was just one of those things that we tried, and I was like, I'm not feeling that. During my first year of filmmaking, I probably just would have went with it, because you have to not be an asshole, but you have to be stern about what you want as a director. And that's something that I've learned in the last couple of years of doing this. So like now I would have no trouble of telling him, yeah, I don't like that voice at all, we're not doing that. Whereas if I did this back in 2019 when I first started this whole making of short films, I probably would have just gone with it, because I didn't, or like, not as pushed back as hard, because I just wanted to get it done and not cause a problem, whatever. But that's your job as a director, is to direct the tone of the film and the actors and stuff. But anyways, that was just a learning lesson for me. A little learning experience. But yeah, so in this scene originally, he still has a little bit of that ghostly, like, Bruce, why didn't you save us? And I that's on me as a director. I should have directed him to sound a little bit more like Olga here, who just sounds like she's accusing Batman, she's accusing Bruce, and making him feel like shit for not being there to help him. And again, this is just all, obviously his parents still feel this way. They're dead, and his parents loved him, and they wouldn't feel this way. This is all in Bruce's head. This is his projection of his parents making him feel guilty. They're supposed to talk down to him, and they're supposed to be condescending to him. Overall, I was happy with this, but if I had to go back and change anything, I would make Richard's tone a little bit more stern, a little bit more condescending, like Olga's was. But yeah, just a little fun behind the scenes bit there that I like telling people. Richard tried doing a zombie voice for Thomas Wayne here, like, Bruce, why didn't you save us? And it just did not work at all. So.
Why did you save us?
You should have done something.
You were no hero.
Never will.
But overall, I'm pretty happy with how the scene turned out. And he's wearing the same, Jeremy's wearing a similar costume to what Steve wears or wore during the date. He's got kind of like a gray sports jacket and a white button down. It's also what he wears here in the next couple seconds. He's wearing the same outfit, and you'll see it when he's an adult.
You're going to join us soon, son.
Don't fight it. Don't fight it.
But yeah, that was actually like snow and stuff. We didn't plan any of that. Thomas and Martha Wayne looked like they were inspired by Jim Deere and Darling. I mean, maybe they were. No, they weren't. They got kind of that classic like 50s look to them a little bit. This is when they drop him. This is when the hallucination starts kicking in. The heartbeat starts ramping up a little bit.
Go away.
And this is, and he's wearing a similar wardrobe as the young version of the young actor. With the same jacket and shirt. The scene was really fun to shoot.
You're not real. You're not real. You're not real. You're not real.
She was actually recording during this, and I tried to get this footage to put into the film, and I think she deleted it. I was so upset I didn't ask sooner. But yeah, she actually filmed this, and I didn't use it. I wish I did. This was fun too. Bashing the Dove guy's head in. So that kick was fun. I had a lot of people tell me that they really liked this kick. It took us quite a few times to get this kick right and to get some of these fight sequences right. So, little fun fact here. We did not rehearse these scenes or these fight scenes before being on set the day of shooting. And if you know anything about filmmaking, that's a no-no. And if I were to ever do another Batman fan film or any action film, I would meet up with the cast and we would rehearse it and go over it, and I would probably take some test shots to use and just get the feel of it over and over and over again. We planned out all the fight sequences the day we shot them, and I wish we hadn't have done it, because I felt like if we had planned it and prepped it more, the fight scenes would have been, there's no doubt in my mind, they would have been, there's no might, they would have been even better. But for what we did on set, just kind of figuring out the fight sequences and the choreography and the blocking the day of shooting, I'm pretty happy with it. Because we didn't plan any of this. We just got to set and just kind of walked through it and talked through it, and figured it out there. It took some time to get it right, but overall I'm pretty happy with it. But if we decide to do a sequel to this in the near future, I will 100% demand that the cast meets up ahead of time and we go over these action sequences over and over and over again, because it's like a dance and you need to do it over and over again and rehearse it to get it right, to make it look really good. But overall I was pretty happy with this. And at this point, the German Shepherd, once we that's not me anymore, that's our other guy who played the guy that has the gun in the very beginning, who says, Falcone's gonna make you pay for this, the bearded guy that my mom apparently says looks like me. He is in the Shepherd outfit now. So when we shot the other scene at the cornfield, he was not available. When we shot this scene another day, he was available. So yeah, he's in the costume, or he's in the German Shepherd dog mask this time, not me. And he tries to go to grab a hammer to hit Batman with it, and yeah, Batman just, nope, not happening. So this was hard to get. She does this. Lamont, what's up, man? How are you? I love you too, buddy. Mwah, appreciate you. Catwoman does this flip in heels. Commanda did this flip in heels. This is really impressive and easily one of the best fight moves in the entire film, in my opinion. And again, we didn't choreograph any of this ahead of time before the day of shooting or anything. We just did it all on set. So we cut it together to make it look, well, I cut it together to make it look as seamless as possible. But yeah, we did it over and over and over again with her basically, let me try to slow it down here a little bit. Playback speed. So we cut it together, but she somersaults. Obviously, we cut here to make it look realistic, and I mean that looks like it connects a little bit. But here's the thing: realistically, in a fight, if this were real, if she were to kick like that, his head would go down. But as Steve does fight choreography, and our actor, again, Steve James, who played Batman and co-produced the film with me and co-wrote it and stuff, he was even the one that suggested that his head go up instead of down, because realistically it would go down. If you're kicking this way, your head's going to go down. But I think somebody, I don't think it was me, somebody else asked, like, isn't that going to look weird with his head going back? And he's like, it's a movie, dude. He's like, you got to sell it for the movie. And I'm glad that he said that, because it looks really, really good. It wouldn't have worked if the cow's head had dipped down when he was hit. It looks so much better with him being hit and going back. Physics-wise, it doesn't work, but I mean, hey. It's a superhero movie, right? But yeah, it took us a while to get that right. And then we cut back to the other shot, and that's when she whips him. So there's something else I was going to say here. Hold on. I don't remember what it was. So yeah, the whole idea here is that Catwoman basically followed him to this location because she knew that he wasn't going to let her go. So she took it on her own fruition to follow him. So yeah, but she did this scene a lot, and it worked out pretty well. She did this in heels. She lands it in heels. That's impressive. That's pretty insane. Yeah, let's put this back up to normal speed. And then for this, we actually had her do the full whip. We tried to keep everyone safe and try to keep Michael safe, who was on the camera. But we actually had her whip, just crack the whip as hard as she could. And that sound effect is obviously not how it really sounded. That was added in post. That was a sound effect added. But she really whipped this thing against the ground. Actually, you know what? This sound might have been real. Let me hear it again. I don't think it is. But anyways, so what we did here to make it look seamless is he just kind of threw his head down, and I just cut it together to make it look like she whipped him. So at this point, when we shot this, he already has it attached to him. So he already has I paused it at the right time. He already has the lasso attached to him, or the whip, not lasso. What the fuck? This isn't the Western. So this is John and under here. He already had it attached to him and just had to grab it and go forward with it, like it just attached to him. Then she pulls it, and then we just have him fly towards her. She kicks him in the back and then drops down. And at this point, she has her knee in his back and is just kind of using that leverage to pull the whip back and oh, that's not what I meant to do, and choke him out here basically. And John was a trooper. He could hardly see out of that mask. So good job, John.
I smell bacon.
That line, "I smell bacon," was improvised by Aaron when we were doing ADR. Because at that point he hears the cops coming. And this is what Scarecrow wanted. He wanted the cops there. He wanted Batman to go crazy, beat up his own men, and try to kill the cops and kill, like, he wanted all this to happen. He didn't anticipate Catwoman being there, and she kind of foiled his plans a little bit, but Scarecrow wanted Batman to go crazy. He wanted the cops to be called there because he knows that Batman works with Gordon and stuff. So he wanted this to happen and Batman basically to go crazy on people and paint Batman as this, like, terrible person for killing people.
It's done. You have no place to go.
I don't think I'm the one you have to worry about.
And he's still hallucinating. He has no idea what's going on still.
Thanks. Catwoman. Whatever you're seeing, whatever you're experiencing, it's not real.
No, you're not real. Get out. Get out of my head.
This is when he attacks her because he doesn't recognize her. There's another VFX done here in a second. When she punches him, she was a little too far away and it didn't look like the punch connected. So again, I had Brandon, who did the VFX for this, make it look like it actually connected. So. How we doing? How we doing on connection? Excellent. Good. So if you notice here between this shot and the one coming up, the lighting changes. That's because we shot it in 2 different days and we didn't have the same lights that we had here. Xavier helped me out with the gaffing and lighting and stuff for this scene, and here we had his lights. Then we cut here, we did not. That's why it looks a little bit different. So he punches the shit out of her, gets on top of her, and has every intention of basically killing her. And my brother even said, he's like, dude, if you wanted to make this really brutal, you should have had Batman kill Catwoman. And I'm like, you know what? Not a bad idea. That would have been pretty crazy, right? And so this is not actually Ed. So our actor, who is again in chat, Ed's here, I think, or he was here earlier, who plays Gordon. This is not actually Gordon. This is John, again, as a body double coming in, because when we tried shooting this scene originally when we had Ed with us, and we changed locations. Anyways, this is not Ed. We did not have access to him. This was in the middle of COVID and stuff, and I think Ed told me he didn't feel safe coming because of COVID, and I totally understood that, totally respected that. So John, who is my resident, my resident actor, who I just call for anything that I need, I was like, hey, do you want to? Can I use a body double? He was like, sure. So this is John here, not Ed, who plays Gordon. Can't tell, but that's him. And then Batman throws Gordon off of him and beats the actual shit out of him. That's when Catwoman stops him. And the first indicator that this is Gordon, because at first it's like you're watching this and you're like, well, who is this guy that tries to stop him? Right? And then once you see these guys, you're like, oh, they're usually with Gordon, right? And again, as a reminder, this is Dick Grayson. This is our Nightwing in this universe.
Holy shit. Alright, you two, put your hands in the air now.
That was obviously a VFX. The whole flash and the smoke was not real. This is all CGI or whatever.
Where the hell are they? I don't know. Check out Gordon.
So this scene, this shot right here was shot at a completely different location. We originally did the scene where Gordon tries to stop Batman as he's beating Catwoman at a completely different location. It was a small barn at one of our actors' houses, at his house, and we tried shooting it there, and we shot the part with Batman punching Gordon and throwing him off and all that stuff. It was just a couple shots, but we got it there, and then we realized later during the production, we're like, I got the opportunity to film at the warehouse instead, and I was like, yeah, I'd rather just use the warehouse. It's going to be better. Like, this barn was really small. It wasn't going to work. It just didn't have the right feel to it, and I love that we got access to that warehouse because there's so much cool paraphernalia laying around. It looks lived in, and I'm glad we got to use that. But anyways, because we changed locations of where the climax was going to take place, we shot everything else there and just used this insert shot from when we had that that scene we filmed with Ed. So again, this is from a completely different time. This was months and months and months ago at a completely different location where we got this shot. But again, because it's so close on his face, you would never know that's not in the garage that you just saw 5 seconds ago. Because the wall looks similar. Because we shot that other scene first, and I was like, we have to find a wall to put Gordon up against that'll make it look like he's in the same location. That's what happens when you switch locations in the middle of shooting. We shot a couple scenes at one location and then switched to the
check out Gordon.
to this barn during another part of the shoot. But yeah, completely different location here. You never know though. But Batman effed him up, dude. So that's when Dick Grayson, discovers her out there, and obviously she filmed everything that happened.
Just a reporter, I swear.
And yeah.
I was just listening to the police scanner.
And that's the biggest reason her character exists in this story, is to basically is to be the catalyst for the whole city. The whole city now believing that Batman is this murderer. Because as we discovered during the news scene, Scarecrow poisoned his own men so that when Batman would fight them, they would die as a result of the poison, but it would look like Batman killed them. Batman didn't actually kill those guys. He beat them, but they were poisoned by Scarecrow, and it looks like Batman killed them. Still here, great stunt double. I know, right? John did a good job. You can use period and comma to go frame by frame. Oh, you can? Look at that, bud. Look at you. Wow, I learned so much with you, Jackson. Look at that. Wow, I can go frame by frame now. Look at that. Welcome back, King. What's up, man? But here we go. This is another drone shot that I got. Yeah, this was during the moon. Look at that moon. Look at that beautiful moon. This is actually during dusk, not during moon. This was during dusk, and that was the moon was shining, and it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah, this is one of the many drone shots that I got for the film. This is the outside of the same location that we used earlier during the day. This is really tricky to get because there was a wedding going on at the Virginia house, at this location, when I got this shot. And again, I got it I think it was a week or two before releasing this film. There was a last minute thing that I got this establishing shot. This was during a wedding. there were people walking around right... You can't see it because... Hold on one second. My webcam is in the way again. Let me just get rid of that. So there are people walking around back here. And there are people walking in and out. I just happened to get the shot during a time where no one was walking in and out. And along the street where I was filming, there were like 20 cars just on the street. Like 20, 30 cars on the street. People were bringing food and all this stuff here. There was like catering coming back and forth. So it's a miracle that I got this shot without anybody in it, because there was a ton of people walking around. A ton. And you don't see anybody. So it's the right angle, baby. Made it work. And this is also at my parents' house, and this is actually their bedroom. So, hope you wash those sheets, Mom and Dad.
What happened? Must have weighed you.
You know the poison killed them. They say in the news, which we'll dive into in a second, when the news headline or the newscaster comes up and says that they were seemingly killed by blunt force trauma, however there was poison in their system. Basically in this story, the forensics specialists are trying to determine how they died, because Batman beat the shit out of them, but they also had poison in their systems, which they probably died from. And again, Scarecrow developed this poison that's untraceable that killed all these other victims. So he poisoned his own men to make it look like Batman killed them, so the city would think that Batman is a killer, is basically what happened. It's a little confusing, but yeah, that's basically what happened. Managed to get me a Hope County hoodie. Oh, nice, dude. I need to play Far Cry 6, though. It looks good. See, that's when John comes in.
How long have I been out? 3 days.
What's the last thing you remember?
Her audio here is mostly ADR too.
Someone else was there. He called himself Scarecrow. It had to have been Crane. He did something to me.
So you can see here that here's the Abril Garcia, who I've worked with several times. She did the makeup for this, and she did an excellent job. Very, very good. She did all the makeup and blood effects and stuff like that for the actors, and she's the one that did all the bruising and stuff here on... Oh my god, my stupid webcam is in the way. But Abril is the one that did all of the makeup here for the bruising on Catwoman's neck to make it look like she had been choked out, which is what happened when Batman choked her. So Abril was awesome.
Just like he poisoned all the other victims.
Perhaps he gave you a smaller dose.
Something different.
Well, whatever he gave you drove you insane.
What?
I might play it someday, King.
Story. We know that the GCPD has issued...
And this is Kristen's acting debut. Actually, no, it's not. This is my wife, Kristen. I needed a last-minute person to play a newscaster, and I asked her to do it. I just... Call it laziness, call it what it was. I was like, can you just do it? And she said she would do it. So this is my wife, Kristen. And this backdrop here is not green screen. We shot this in front of my TV that you see behind me. So the way that we shot this was... That's my TV right there. We sat Kristen in front of the TV, and I had my camera over here, and I turned on that news background that you see in the film and had her standing in front of it. So when you look at this scene, that's not green screen, and I didn't superimpose that. That's just my TV behind her. That's just my TV playing a Globe News thing behind her. And yeah. Is it great? Could be better. I mean, her eye line is not perfect here, but we tried for like an hour to get it right, and that was basically the best that we could do it. So yeah, her eye line is not perfect, but that's not on her. That was me using a teleprompter like they do on the real news, and I was trying to put it behind the camera that would work the best, and this was the best position we got that made it look like her eye line was where it should be. Again, I don't have the resources to actually make it look like it was on the news. So, but yeah, she did well. I agree. Thanks, Dad.
For Batman and Catwoman, based on the footage captured by a reporter.
And this is actually footage here that we used. This was not actually video footage that Vicky Vale caught during that scene. Because again, as I said earlier, I wanted to use that footage that Madeline actually captured on her phone, but somehow it didn't work out. This footage that you see is actually from another fan film that Steve did as Batman with another director. So this is actually footage from that fan film. But again, it's so quick you wouldn't notice. But this was from a completely different film, him fighting people.
As well as the eyewitness accounts of Officer Holder and Officer Grayson. Batman and Catwoman are one.
Officer Holder, they say eyewitness accounts of Officer Holder and Officer Grayson. So again, very, very subtle, but it's implied there that one of the cops is Dick Grayson, who is the white cop. That is Nightwing later on.
For the assault of Commissioner James Gordon.
Ed, I hope you don't mind. I took that photo from your Facebook. I took this photo from Ed's Facebook to put into the film.
And the apparent murders of 4 masked men. These 4 unidentified men were pronounced dead at the scene, seemingly by blunt force trauma and asphyxiation. So
all 4 men were killed on the scene. All 4 masked men were pronounced dead on the scene. So,
however, toxicology reports are revealing traces of various toxins in their systems. Forensic experts are still determining their exact cause of death, but regardless, the police and Gotham citizens are believing Batman and Catwoman to be the primary suspects.
So as I said, it's believed that the 4 Scarecrow henchmen were killed by Batman and Catwoman, either by being beaten or by being choked to death, which the cow guy was choked by Catwoman. So it's believed that they were killed by them because they died. And in the fight scene, I mean, like, think of how it looks. To everybody else into Gotham City, you have Vicky Vale capturing footage of Batman and Catwoman fighting these 4 masked guys, and then they're pronounced dead by forensic specialists later, and cops and everybody later. So they have footage of people fighting them, and then they're pronounced dead later. So it looks like to everybody, Catwoman and Batman killed these guys, when in reality, as Kristen says, as a news reporter, there were traces of poison in their system. So Scarecrow basically poisoned his own men. And again, I should have probably made that a little bit more clear in the dialogue, but again, figuring some of this out while we were shooting and even after shooting.
Many even suspect Batman to be responsible for...
And now to the weather. Exactly, right, Jackson?
the brutal murders at Gotham University, as well as other mysterious deaths around the city.
And so now people are just jumping to conclusions, and she's reporting that people are now believing that Batman even was responsible for the Gotham University killings and the other mysterious deaths around the city, which were the heart attack deaths.
Including the death of police officer Chris Angus.
And that is the actor that played, that's Chris Ridings, who played Officer Angus and played the Dove henchman.
Vicky Vale confirmed a 5th masked person was at the scene, but they have yet to be located.
And that's indication right there when she says a 5th masked person was at the scene and they had yet to be located. That's basically confirmation that Scarecrow escaped, is basically what that says. The 5th masked person was Scarecrow.
Vicky Vale confirmed a 5th masked person was at the scene, but they have yet to be located. They were last seen wearing...
So Kristen cuts off there, but what I had her say was they were last seen wearing a Scarecrow mask. I had to cut it off because of timing and just to make it work for the edit in the scene. But she says, yeah, the 5th masked man did leave the scene and he was last seen wearing a Scarecrow mask. So again, it's implied here in the dialogue that Scarecrow did escape.
You did not need to show him that just as he waits.
You know what, Alfred? He needs to understand the gravity of the situation. No one must kill Gordon, for Christ's sakes.
Officer Angus, I just got it. Yeah, that's so. He's named Officer Angus. That's Aaron's last name. The guy who played Scarecrow. That's his last name. So I just used his last name for the police officer.
And me.
How did this happen?
I found you and helped you fight off Scarecrow's men. Then you attacked me.
That's all ADR.
Gordon was there to help.
A lot of this is ADR.
Now he's paying the price for it.
How bad is it?
Bad? He is still in the ICU, in a coma.
Yeah.
Crane set this up.
Fucked up, Batman.
He knew I'd be coming. One of the cops there too. You know, Gotham thinks I've killed, what, almost a dozen people?
So yeah, he says Gotham thinks I've killed almost, what, a dozen people. So if you count it, it's about 11 to 12 people. So you have the 4 masked men were seemingly killed by Batman on the scene at the warehouse. You have the other, I think, 3, the triple homicide at Gotham University, and people think Batman may have killed them too, because now people think that Batman's a fucking rampaging killer at this point. And then you have the other 4 people, I think, that were killed by the heart attack deaths. Officer Angus, Sherry Squires, the doctor, and then the chick in Robbinsville. So that's 11 people. That's 11 people that are presumed that have died seemingly by Batman and Catwoman. That's basically what this whole scene is setting up, is that Gotham City thinks Batman and Catwoman have nearly killed 11 people. And as we established in the very beginning, not many people know who Batman is. Not many people understand who he is. He's only worked closely with Gordon for a couple of years, and we establish in this, like, the second or third scene in the short film, that even the cops don't really know him. Like, even Dick Grayson's character is like, yeah, who the hell is this guy? Like, yeah, are we even going to see him? Like, how do you know he's not just... I think the whole Batman thing is bullshit. And then Officer Holder's like, well, why would he lie about something like that? And he's like, I don't know, he's old and senile. So there's this conversation between the 2 cops about, is Batman even real? So it goes to show you that not even the cops really know who he is. No one in the city really understands who Batman is. They just know that he's this kind of vigilante working in the shadows with Gordon, and people are wary of him. Now the city has their first impression of Batman, and they think he's a killer. This is the first real impression he's had on the entirety of the city, and they think he's a murderer.
You know what? If you told me where you were going, then I could have your back, okay? I could have had your back.
You don't know that. You would have fallen into the same trap.
No, Bruce. You needed me there.
It wouldn't have mattered.
I would have made...
Enough. What is done is done. The city was wary of you before. They didn't know you were there. Now they think they do.
Which is exactly basically what I said, Gordon. Oh, not Gordon. Alfred. Yeah, the city was wary of him. They didn't know Batman. Now they think they understand who he is. Please watch your language. No, I'm not going to do that. How was your Thanksgiving? It was good, man. How was yours? Had brunch with my parents and grandparents. It was pretty good. I was tired of Thanksgiving food. I had it with my in-laws on Sunday, and we had breakfast food and brunch yesterday, and it was really good. Bad language is not going to get me into trouble. I'm an adult. I'll be okay. Just realized I've been fighting a bunch of people when I meant to be on the other side of the city. That happens in video games. You just get sidetracked. It happens, man. So this is when Batman realizes the whole gravity of the situation. You know, everyone thinks he's a killer. His friend and colleague Gordon is basically almost dead in a coma. And yeah, the woman that he has a thing for wants nothing to do with him because he nearly killed her too. Yo, Clips, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream, buddy.
I need to be alone.
Yeah, when he says he needs to be alone, Alfred listens immediately and he's like, yeah, you too. You need to leave. And she's just like pissed about the whole situation. Because she thinks this all could have been avoided if they had worked together. But Batman's like, yeah, no. He knew this was coming. He planned all this, so it wouldn't have mattered. Boom. And this is obviously supposed to be some time later, hence the time lapse that I captured on the deck of my apartment. Yeah, happy with that time lapse. It's kind of cool, right? It's supposed to convey that this is supposed to be some pretty good amount of time later. Like weeks later. I like that shot a lot too, the drone shot. Because at this point, Catwoman's wounds have healed. It's been a couple weeks. So we're originally going to have this whole little mini sequence where she gets a text saying that Falcone has her sister. We were originally going to do that, but it just didn't end up happening. We either forgot to do it or something like that. We're so good at planning, right? But yeah, we were going to have that sequence, but it didn't work out. But yeah. This is basically just cutting to her sometime later where her actions have caught up to her with what she's done with Falcone and all that stuff. Her basically being the sly, you know, troublemaker that she is finally caught up to her in this moment. We kind of established that earlier on.
Where is she, Falcone?
Do you even know why I called you here?
So the guy who plays Falcone is It's played by the miraculous, the incredible Doug Blackburn. I love this guy. I've worked with him on several projects now. He is a really cool guy, got a lot of cool stories, and he is probably one of, if not the best actor I've worked with. He is phenomenal. He was terrifying in this scene. Now, let me tell you guys a little bit about the scene real quick. It's the last scene of the movie. I want to tell you guys a little bit about it. This was shot on a parking deck in Richmond on the top. This is actually my truck here, fun fact. And this is Pete from earlier on in the film. We saw him earlier when Catwoman bested him in the fight and threw the jewel at him. So during this scene, when we were filming it, when we got our very, very first shot set up and I said action, Catwoman confronted him and said, where is she, Falcone, and blah, 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 blah. And then Doug didn't say a single word. And then I got worried and I was like, okay. I was like, well, this is where you say your line. And then Doug looked at me like I had 5 heads and goes, well, what are you talking about? And I was like, well, you have lines here. He goes like, no, I don't. He's like, you never said I had any lines in this scene. And I was like, wait, what? So somewhere along the communication, Doug didn't realize that there was a dialogue for this scene for his character. And anyways, it was a mishap of communication. It was nobody's fault. If anything, it was mine as the director. It's my job to make sure everybody is, that everyone has everything they need. So somewhere along the production, communication got messed up, and Doug didn't know he had any lines for this scene. He didn't know at all. So you know what he did? He learned this entire scene right before shooting it. All the dialogue right before. We had to cut out some of it to make it a little bit easier, but Doug is a professional. He's been doing this for decades as an actor and as a stand-up comedian and stuff. He knows he knows theater work and stuff like that. He knows how to remember lines very, very well. He's very good at this. So Doug slipped right into character and remembered all the lines and did an awesome job. So yeah, all this dialogue you're hearing and everything, he learned all the dialogue. He did not rehearse it. He did not memorize the lines before coming to set. He figured it all out on set because prior to being on set, he thought he didn't have any dialogue. Then when we got to set, he realized he did, and then we worked together and figured it out. I was so stressed. That was one of the most anxious, awful feelings I've ever had on set. My heart sank down to my butt, and my blood ran cold, and I was like, because everyone looked at me like, you didn't tell this guy he had lines? And I was like, no, I swear I did. And like, I have never in my entire life been so scared on set. I'm sure there'll be times that will come that will make me more anxious. I've only been doing this for like 2.5 years. That was an awful feeling, but we figured it out, and the scene worked out really well. So, and that is all because Doug is an amazing actor, and he made this scene so good. So good.
Why I took your precious sister?
I guess it has to do with the jewelry store I robbed.
So yeah, he kidnaps Catwoman's sister. He's tired of her shit.
Is she the one that beat you and Vincent and took thousands of dollars of gems? My gems.
It's her.
So, she's the one you let get away. She's the one that killed Vincent. No! That was you, wasn't it? It's a mistake, sir.
So Jackson's already saying it already. He's putting knife with a smiley face in chat. So yeah, this knife is really fake looking. I'm not gonna lie, it's fine. It does look pretty fake. I'm not gonna lie. Especially later in the scene coming up. So in this scene, I worked with a Brill or makeup artist to try to do a blood effect. We had like a prosthetic on Pete's neck and tried so hard to get like the blood to rip open and do this blood squirt effect, and it did not work. Again, that was one of those things we should have met up and done ahead of time. Lesson learned. It did not work, so we basically I just did this, and I had Brandon, who did all the VFX, do this in post. The whole blood squirting out here, as you can see, the whole that's all VFX there. With the blood coming out, so. And we did the whole, that's real blood that's on her face that we squirted on her. And, I mean, yeah, it's a little bit silly, but it's a comic book movie, whatever. Pete is pretty far away. Pete is pretty far away for that blood to be splashed on her face, but it is what it is. Like, somebody pointed this out recently when watching this. They were like, yeah, guy's pretty far away for the blood to splatter that far. I'm like, whatever, man. I don't really care. But yeah, so we did not get that prosthetic to work. And yeah, that's what we decided to go with. We decided to go with the VFX.
It's a shame.
Also in this scene, Lamont was in chat earlier. Good friend of mine, another actor I love to work with, great guy. He is this guy. This beautiful, dark-skinned hand you see here, that's Lamont. I don't think we actually see Lamont's face in full here. Unfortunately, I wish we did. If we do a sequel, Lamont, I'll put you in it, buddy. But this scene was supposed to have a ton of henchmen converge on the scene. There were supposed to be like 5 or 6 or 7 henchmen converge on the scene and like basically come swarm around Catwoman, and all of the other extras that I had bailed for different reasons. So we only ended up with 2. So Lamont and the other guy, Brian Dinsmore, were the only 2 extras that showed up that day in full costume, and and had like the prop guns and stuff like that that we supplied. But anyways, they're the only 2 that really showed up, and special thanks to you guys, because you guys are huge troopers, because this scene wouldn't have been able to be done without you. It already looks not quite how I pictured it, because I wanted there to be a ton of henchmen just walk up with all these guns pointed on her, but it only ended up being 2 because the other actors unfortunately all bailed. And that happens a lot in the indie filmmaking industry that I've noticed. A lot of people bail last minute, and it sucks. But it happens. Yeah, he is amazing, Dad. Professional to the core, 100%. I can't say I need to go to bed. I got to get up early. Hope you have a great night and great stream. By the way, the film was awesome, dude. Great job believing you. Thanks, Clips. Appreciate the kind words, man. Sorry you can't stay later, but no worries. Go to bed. Get yourself some rest. And I'll be probably uploading this later to the channel as like a video or something. So you can always check it out later if you want. You were lucky to hire anyone of all ages for this film. You must be rich. I am not rich at all. A lot of these people did the work for free. This is a $2,000 film. It's not rich to be able to afford a $2,000 film. That's nothing. Nothing on the ground like a bullet. The bullet flew away, Jackson. That's what happened.
He was a good man. A family man. But he fucked me over. What do you think I'm gonna do to someone that fucks me over? Someone that's not part of the Falcone family. You and the Batman have been interfering in my business way too long. And thanks to the Scarecrow, he got what was coming to him. Now it's your turn. You're gonna get what you deserve. You know, it must have been scary when the Batman was trying to kill you, Miss Kyle. But that fear...
Jackson, I know you want to talk about how fake that knife looks. Don't look at it, guys. Look at the actors. Don't look how fake the knife is.
Nothing compared to what...
Should have coated it in more blood along the sharp edge so people wouldn't notice, but yeah, whatever. Let's do a GoFundMe. Oh, there you go. Lamont, we see you a little bit. Looking pretty dapper, my friend. This is it. The last scene of the film. So yeah, we threw her in the back of my truck, and our cinematographer, Michael, was in the passenger seat filming, and I was in the driver's seat driving away. And that's it. Wow, guys, it only took us like 2 hours to talk about this film, right? Yeah, and that's it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I missed. Let's go through the whole thing again. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so in this shot originally, we were gonna have like blood pouring out and all that stuff. We were gonna have blood VFX pouring out, and we tried it and it didn't work. It looked weird. But yeah, it looks a little strange that there's no blood pouring from Pete's neck here, but it is what it is. But yeah, so basically Falcone did this as an intimidation tactic for Catwoman. Catwoman and Batman have constantly fucked her over, or fucked him over, I'm sorry. Time and time again, you see in the very beginning, Batman, those henchmen that he grabs in the very second scene, or not the very first, but the second scene in the movie, those are Falcone's henchmen, and then later on, When she robs a jewelry store, she screws him over again by stealing his jewelry and ends up with one of his men getting killed by the other man, this guy. So this is all kind of building up to Falcone just getting pissed off and saying, I'm taking matters into my own hands now. I've had enough playing and horsing around with you. You're coming. He kidnaps her sister, or supposedly kidnaps her sister, to get her to confront him. Because I mean, they know each other at this point. Falcone and Catwoman know each other. They have a history, and they've been kind of back and forth. But it's never gotten this violent before. That's one of the reasons why she's so scared. Is because Catwoman is usually confident. And seeing him kill his own man like that made her realize, oh yeah, this guy means business now. He's taking matters into his own hands, and he's not screwing around. Because before, she was able to kind of screw him over and steal jewelry or steal other things from him and get away with it, and basically just be able to get away with it. Now he's tired of it. He's had it, and now Catwoman is captured, and that's basically where we end this. And my mom told me that she did not like this ending because she doesn't like cliffhangers or something like that. So she doesn't like that it ends with Catwoman getting captured by Carmine Falcone. But I'm fine with it. I like cliffhangers. Lamont, we see your face there. Look at that. Lamont, we see. Oh, look how fierce he is. Hold on, we missed it. Look at this fierce man. Look at that smolder. Woo, it's a fierce man. But yeah. So that was, I mean, we went through a lot there. I didn't think it was going to take quite that long, but it did. But there was a lot to talk about with this film. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, and I'm sure there are a ton of things that I didn't mention that I'll there's a lot that I didn't mention about this film, and there's a lot that I probably forgot about because there's just so much that goes into making stuff like this, especially even a short film that's like only like less than 40 minutes long. There's still so much that goes into it, so many behind the scenes tidbits and things that happened there. I told you guys about things that went right, things that went wrong, like with Doug and the whole thing with the script. I mean, like, stuff like that happens all the time, and that's something that I've learned as a filmmaker. Is the biggest thing about making a film is you have to learn how to problem solve. Like, that's basically, to me, what it means to be a director, is problem solving. Because there are problems that are going to inevitably happen on any set that you're on. You can do your best to plan for them by pre-producing and planning ahead of time. However, there's going to be stuff that inevitably goes wrong. And stuff went wrong on this set. Plenty of stuff went wrong, but there were plenty of stuff that did right. And it was an incredible learning experience. I'm glad that I did it. And it seems people really enjoyed it overall, and I am happy with it. And the idea of doing a sequel is definitely something I'm considering. I've been playing with a bunch of different ideas in my head. I bought a corkboard now for film ideas and plotting out story beats and stuff like that. So who knows? Maybe I'll start putting up some note cards and planning out story beats and ideas for the sequel to this. We'll see. I just have Catwoman staring at me right now because I still have it paused on the screen and just have her staring at me. It's beautiful. Love it. Let's go. That's right, Jackson. I understand the fake knife's purpose. We can't use a real one, right? A real knife used in film would be dangerous. Exactly. Yeah, 100%. If the whole Alec Baldwin scenario that happened a couple months ago or a month ago has taught us anything, it's I would rather use a fake weapon and have people make fun of it because it looks fake than use a real weapon and people go, wow, that looks so real. How did you do it? Oh, well, I put people's lives at risk and I used a real weapon. I would rather keep people safe and use something that looks fake, and I don't really give a shit. The idea would be to find something that looks so fake that you think it's real, obviously. But yeah, like all the guns and stuff, like none of these guns are real guns. These are all airsoft guns. None of them are real. I would never in a million years point a gun at somebody's face like that for a film. I will try my best to always use prop guns if I can. I'm never going to use a real gun and use blanks and stuff like that because that happens on film sets all the time. People get shot and killed for using just blanks, and I'm not going to risk that. I'm going to use prop guns when I can. So, but yeah, so that was behind the scenes in the director's commentary of Dawn of Fear. My throat is sore, dude. Tony, if you have suggestions, you want to throw out some ideas for what you want to see in a sequel, let me hear it, man. Let's have a little bit of a discussion here if you guys want to. I don't even know how many people are left. I don't have the view count pulled up, but whatever. If you guys have any questions that you want to ask, you're more than welcome to. I will keep this stream up for those of you guys to watch it later. If you're coming in at the end, or if you watched a part of it earlier and you're watching some of it now and you missed some of it, you didn't see all of it, I will leave the stream posted and you guys can come back and watch it. I might even edit a shorter version that's more easily digestible. We'll see. But if you guys have any questions or anything like that, let me know. If I don't answer them now, I'll answer them in the comments. Yeah, real guns are not necessary. In this day and age, and I even heard VFX artists talk about this recently with the whole Alec Baldwin thing, there's no reason to not use fake guns and just do VFX for the firing of the gun. Like, doing gunshots is one of the easiest visual effects that you can do in a film. I'm not saying that as somebody who is good at VFX. I'm saying that from people who do VFX that I've heard from online. It's one of the easier things to do. There's no reason not to use fake guns and just do gunfire and stuff like that in post. No reason not to do it. 10-4, I see. Yeah, Ed, thanks for sticking in through the whole stream. I appreciate that, friend. Can you answer the one I had? What question did you have? I didn't see it. Ask it again. Hey, Corbin, an answer on budget. The bat suit itself was $2,000. Boom! There you go. So it was more than a $2,000 budget. It was probably like $3,000 or $4,000. You bought... Okay, so technically for this film, then, it wasn't $2,000 because you bought that suit for the other Batman fan film, right? For Requiem for a Bat. I think you bought that suit for that one. So technically, I don't know, maybe you did. Maybe you did buy it for this one. I can't remember. I know the cowl was specially made for this film. But yeah, it was either way, even if you count the bat suit itself, it was less than like a $5,000 production. I would say it was probably like $3,000 or $4,000. If you include the bat suit. Without the bat suit, probably still like $2,000. This was a complete no budget fan film. 100%. 100%. But I loved it. Good learning experience. Sequel plot idea number 1. Batman and Batwoman are preventing Firefly from burning children's hospitals, and then the horses confront and bring down Firefly's employees, Black Mask. You know, Firefly is going to be a villain in the Batgirl HBO movie. Firefly is a cool villain, man. I was looking into him recently. I'd like to do something with Firefly. It's a good idea, Tony. It was specifically for this one? Okay, I don't know why I thought that you had something different for Requiem. Or maybe, no, I thought you had the same one for Requiem. You had something different. Okay. So yeah, there's your answer. Batsuit alone was $2,000, and the cowl, I think, was like, what, several $100s? So that probably puts the budget at around maybe $3,500, $4,000, I would say. Still not a lot, considering how much a lot of short films cost. Like, I think Bat in the Sun, they do a lot of, let's see here. Bat in the Sun, they do a whole bunch of Batman fan films, but they crowdfund these, right? Like, I'm pretty sure Batman Dying is Easy. Didn't these guys get like $50,000 or something to make this film? $77,000. Okay, so again, we made our fan film for like probably around $4,000. It was a lot of fun to be a part of. Oh, I know, Steve, and it wouldn't have been done without you, man. You did an awesome job in producing it, acting it, co-writing it. You were magnificent in everything that you did, man. And I can't thank you enough for bringing me on to it and telling the story with me. It was a lot of fun. Cal was $550, which isn't too bad. Whew. So yeah, $2,600 for the Batman stuff alone, and the Catwoman costume costs money. So I would say probably about $5,000. But again, look at this fan film. A fan-made Batman film, $77,000. I don't know. A part of me has thought, like, if we do decide to do a sequel and enough people like Dawn of Fear, should we crowdfund a sequel if enough people want to see it? I don't know. That's not something that I've decided yet on. I I need to educate myself and learn about crowdfunding indie films because I've never done it before, so I don't really know much about it. But that is something that I've considered in the next couple of years, like maybe crowdfunding a short film and something like Batman and seeing if people wanted to see a sequel or whatever. It's definitely an option. It's definitely an option. I guess I always get nervous that I'll crowdfund something and it won't meet its goal, but that happens to people all the time. It's not something to be afraid of. Did you play my latest comment in the discussion? I did. I think it's a cool idea. I definitely like the idea of doing something with Firefly. I think he's a really cool villain that I just learned about recently, and that'd be cool to explore. Jackson, I will check DMs after the stream. King, what was your question? Ask it again. Yeah, I saw it, Tony. It's a good idea. I like it. You can throw out the other three if you want. I'll probably end the stream here soon, but you can always put them in the comments if you want. Dang, I can't believe we shot that film over the... What a wild ride. 1 year. Oh my goodness. And again, here's the thing about that is that like we would film like 1 or 2 scenes and then take months to film another scene. And a lot of that was because of COVID. Like we stopped for several months because of COVID. And we also stopped, just scheduling issues was hard because as you guys saw, we had a really, really big cast for the film. It was really hard to schedule and manage people and stuff. So that was really complicated to do. What I would love to do in the future, if we shoot a sequel anytime soon, I would love to just block out like 5 to 7 days, however many days it's going to take, something like that, and just shoot the whole thing at once. I'd rather just do that. Rather just shoot the whole movie at once, like how they normally do it. That's what we did with Sutherland. The horror film that I've mentioned 20 times. That's what we did with Sutherland, and I liked that experience. I liked just being in that environment and just doing it all at once. Kind of keep the train rolling, keep the momentum going. That was really fun to do. So if we do a Batman film or any short film that I'm a part of in the future, I would love to just shoot the whole thing at once if possible. Because it's just, I know it's not always practical with how many people are involved in the production, but it's just so much easier to just get it all done. I did crowdfunding for a short film I produced 6 years ago. Contact me later. I might add, I have you and I have several other people that I know that have crowdfunded short films in the past and have been successful with it. So I'm definitely, if I do decide to crowdfund anything in the near future, I will definitely contact you and some of my other friends because I'm going to need it. Short idea number 2 from Tony. Batman and Batwoman beach for reformed Alice, a.k.a. Beth Kane, and she was kidnapped by the Mad Hatter. The idea is inspired by the movie Silence of the Lambs. That'd be kind of cool. I love that movie, though. That's interesting. Number 3, Batman and Batwoman version of the story Hush, a Batman Hush. Interesting. And number 4, the whole Bat family, including Batwoman, protect Gotham from an Arkham breakout that was caused by Hugo Strange and Black Mask 2.0, aka Jeremiah Arkham. Sounds like we'll need a pretty big budget for those. Maybe I will do a GoFundMe. Yeah, those are cool ideas, Tony. Thanks for sharing them, man. Do you have any idea for a possible title for the sequel? I don't yet. Steve was writing a sequel for a time. And then in the last couple months doing promotion for this film, I've had a few ideas for a sequel as well. So I don't 100% know what I want to do, whether it be a story yet. I have some ideas or a title. If I do whatever the title is, I would like to include Fear in the title again. Just call it like the Batman Fear series or trilogy or whatever the fuck. Like, you know how like Spider-Man, it's Spider-Man Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home. I'd like to include Fear in the title again. Like something along those lines would be kind of cool. I don't know 100% what I would want to do for a sequel yet. I do know that I loved working with Aaron, and I loved Aaron's version of Scarecrow. I would like to include Scarecrow again if possible. I'll tell you the 2 big things I want to do more of in the sequel. I want to have more Falcone, because Doug is an amazing actor, and he had that scene at the very end that I wrote for him. Doug, here's a fun fact, behind-the-scenes tidbit. Doug originally was going to submit to play Gordon, and I had already casted Ed as Gordon. So by the time he came to me, I said, I already cast the role. I can't give it to you. However, I'll write the scene for you at the very end for Falcone. So I wrote that scene specifically to include Doug into the film because he's such a good actor, and I'd seen him in something else before, and I wanted him in it. So yeah. So I would like to have Falcone be more of a central antagonist and be probably almost the main antagonist in a sequel. Because we end it with him kidnapping Catwoman. That's got to have some repercussions, right? You got to do something with that. So being able to work with Doug again and seeing what this version of Falcone could do, I think could be really interesting to explore. I want to see that. And also the other thing I want to do is I really want to expand and explore Batgirl. I want to see, for me, I would love to see Barbara's transformation into Batgirl in a sequel. That's something that I've talked to the actress Missy about. I even played around with the idea of doing a Batgirl spinoff, like just solely about her character and her becoming Batgirl and stuff. But whether we decide to do that or not, I definitely want to see Batgirl be more of a central character in the sequel, if that's possible. Yeah. Batman Dusk of Fear. We'll do Morning of Fear. How's that sound? Batman. It's Morning of Fear. It's Dusk of Fear. Night of Fear. Sounds dumb. It was originally actually titled Batman Master of Fear. Another little interesting fact. But there was another short film online called Batman Master of Fear, so I changed it to Dawn of Fear. Dawn being like the beginning, because I wanted this film to basically be the beginning of like a kind of setting the pieces and characters and stuff for like what could potentially turn into like a series of Batman fan films in the same universe. So I called it Dawn of Fear because obviously there's fear involved, and with Scarecrow, and then Dawn I put there as kind of like the beginning. Because this is kind of the jumping off point. This is the foundation of what could potentially be a series of Batman fan films and spinoffs. Which, by the way, speaking of spinoffs, I'll tell you what I'm really interested in doing right now. Almost more than a sequel to Dawn of Fear, I really, really, really want to do a Harley Quinn origin short film. Like a 20-minute film. I would love to do a short film about Harley Quinn. Backstory. Like, her starting as, like, an intern at Gotham. Not like being a full-blown psychologist, but doing a younger take on Harley when she's still in her 20s in college. And, like, she's an intern working at Arkham Asylum, and that's when she meets the Joker and shit. I think that'd be kind of cool. That's an idea that I've been playing around with in my head. So, yeah, sequel to this or a Harley Quinn spinoff would be ideal to continue in this franchise. I say franchise as if, like, some multi-billion-dollar franchise or something. It's just a bunch of fan films, but hey, I love doing them. So, have you ever thought of using a game to help with the short film? I'm not sure what you mean. Say no, nods yes, exactly. God, my eyes are getting blurry. I need to get my contacts soon. Have you ever thought of using a game to help with the short film? I'm not sure what that means. Wasn't Jeremiah the guy who founded Asylum? I actually don't know that. Birds of Prey film where they are led by Batwoman, who was left in charge of Gotham after Batman leaves to join the Justice League. That's not a bad idea, too. I like that title, Jax. I think he was kidding, Dad. Batman Nude of Fear. Batman Mid-Afternoon of Fear. Mid-Afternoon works better. Batman and Catwoman Fire and Black. Batman and Batwoman Fire and Black. It could work, too. You never know. Year of Fear. I like the rhyming there. It's the Year of Fear, dear. Yeah, tell suggestions are cool, man. Yeah, I saw them, Tony. Cool ideas, man. I appreciate those. But yeah, just throwing around some ideas. Yeah. What a wild ride Batman was. I'm not going to keep milking and talking about Batman. I'm not going to keep milking it and talking about it all the time, but I did wanted to do this recap and this director's commentary and talk about behind the scenes stuff and share information with you guys. It's been 4 weeks today since the release of the film, and it's been enough time where a lot of people have seen it, so I wanted to talk about it a little bit more. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this director's commentary or whatever. I know it was pretty long, and I know we had some technical issues here, but now I've kind of learned. So for future streams, I'll hopefully learn my lesson and stuff. But so my plan is to do regular streams here in the near future. I don't have a specific schedule yet. I don't know. I kind of want to do like, I'm thinking about what my schedule is going to be. I haven't decided fully yet, but I do want to do 2 streams a week, where one being like this, where we just chat, talk about film related stuff. It's not just going to be Batman the whole time. It's going to be other stuff. Come up with some topic ideas, and we can create a dialogue and talk about fun stuff. And I also want to do gaming streams. I play video games. I'm a big dork. Did it on Twitch, so I might have 1 stream a week where I just kind of chill, play some video games or whatever, just kind of hang out, keep it relaxed. If you guys want to ask me questions about film stuff, you can. But it's just going to be playing video games, basically, for those streams. But we'll see. Maybe no one will come out to those, and people will be more interested in the just chatting streams where we talk about film stuff. We'll see. This is all a learning experience. I basically just want to create regular content on this channel. I don't want to just be at a point where I'm putting up fan films or short films or whatever, and then 5 months I don't post anything, and then I post another short film. I don't want to do that. I don't want to make this channel just a dumping ground for short films anymore. I actually want to post and stream regularly. Hate that word. Regularly. Hate that word. I want to post regularly, whether I'm streaming or making videos. I want to be like a regular content creator or whatever. I don't know why I did that in quotes. But I want to like create content regularly for this channel and try to build up an audience and stuff. So that's kind of my plan moving forward, but hope you guys are on board. Be cool if you were. I appreciate you guys sticking around though. Batman Evening of Anguish. That sounds like when you have Taco Bell and you have like the shits. Batman had too much Taco Bell and he has the shits. Alfred, I need extra toilet paper. It's the Evening of Anguish. Batman Fall of Fear. We'd have to release that in the fall though. Alice in Wonderland. Batwoman, Batwoman Hush. Some good ideas, man. I definitely like your first plot line idea, Tony. It's pretty good. But either way, I think for a plot, I would have to do something that's based off of what we already set up in this film. I'm not sure if I would jump. Well, you never know. Might do something with Batwoman. Who knows? We'll see. You have 2 Watch Dogs Legions? Nice, bro. Did you get those for... How'd you get 2? You buy 2 of them? About 2 of the same game? Good job, man. Proud of you. But yeah. Guys, I think we're going to go ahead and end it here. Your boy's tired. I got sushi waiting for me. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the love on the film. And I definitely appreciate your patience with watching me go through this whole mishap with the YouTube streaming stuff. So I appreciate it. And I can't thank you guys enough for the support. And for those of you guys who are here that helped me make this film, you guys are awesome. I'm very proud of the work that we did together. So thank you very much. Batman Fortnite of Fear. No. No Fortnite. Batman Bi-Weekly of Fear. I hope you will include Batwoman one way or another. We might. You never know, Tony. You never know. Guess a download glitch like Fallout 4. How does that work? That's so stupid, King. I don't know how that works. That's crazy. But anyways, I love you guys. Thank you so much for coming out. And I'll keep you updated on everything on social media. Tony. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description. Love you guys. Have a good night. Talk to you later. Thanks for hanging.